October 22nd, Neighborhood Board number 34 meeting is called to order. Welcome to our Makakilo-Kapolei-Honokai Hale Community Forum. My name is Anthony Makana-Paris and I serve as your board chair. We are holding a hybrid meeting with community members in person at Kapolei Hale conference rooms A and B and online via WebEx. For order and decorum, if you wish to speak, please raise your virtual hand if you're online or your hand in person and come up to the microphone. And the presiding officer will recognize you before speaking. Please introduce yourself for the record and only address your comments to the. If I miss any hands in person or online, please get the attention of our neighborhood board assistant, Jeffrey Jones, and he'll make sure that I circle back to you. Speakers have to comment on any item, and those giving reports may take up to 10 minutes this evening. And presentation materials are available on our publicly accessible Google Drive. Please remember to silence any electronic devices and keep yourself muted when you're using WebEx unless you're speaking. And again, please remember to state your name for the record before sharing your comment, question, concerns, or testimony. This is our community forum, so everyone is asked to engage with the spirit of aloha, be free to vigorously debate the agenda items, remember to treat each other with respect, especially when you're passionately advocating, and let's honor each other by keeping to the allotted times and collectively finishing our forum in a timely manner. So are there any questions on procedure before we get going? Seeing and hearing none, please call the roll.
Alrighty, board members in person, when I call your name, please use your microphone. For those that are online, please go ahead and unmute your mic virtually. Start with board member England, who's online.
Here.
Thank you. Board member Dudley.
Here.
Ferreira. Board member Ferreira online, if you're there. Nope, absent. Board member Hale. Board member Lidstone.
Ew.
Medeiros. Not seeing Medeiros. Ta'ala.
Ew.
And Chair Paris.
Ew.
Chair, you have 6 members present. You do have a quorum this evening.
Awesome. So let's start off this evening with our presentation from our finest first responders, and first goes to Honolulu Fire Department. Come on down.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Captain Edward Lee from the Makakilo Fire Station. So first thing I'd like to cover is the statistics for September of 2025. So for our fires, we had 0 structure fires in our geographical area. Wildland brush fires, we had 1. Nuisance fires, which includes rubbish fires outside a structure or vehicle, we had 5. Cooking fires, we had 3. Activated alarms with no fires, 21. Next, for our emergencies, medical emergencies, 182. Motor vehicle collisions with pedestrians is 4. Motor vehicle crash or collisions, we had 10. For mountain rescue, 0. Ocean rescue, 0. Hazardous materials incidents, 0. Our fire safety tips and announcements. So safety tip of the month is seasonal decorations. So with the holiday season just around the corner, please consider fire-resistant, non-combustible decorations. Choose only Underwriters laboratory-approved electrical decorations and follow manufacturer's instructions for installation and load. First 3 bullets. First bullet is use lights that are in good repair. Always turn off lights before leaving your home or going to bed. Second bullet, do not overload power strips, surge protectors, and extension cords. And last bullet, never leave candles unattended. Secure lighters and matches. Keep them out of reach from children. That's all I have for fire department. Any questions?
Mahalo for the report. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns from the board or the community at large? Hearing none, appreciate the reminders for us celebrating safely this upcoming holiday season.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Mahalo. Next, we go to Honolulu Police Department. Okay, I was just informed that HPD is currently engaging in appropriate business, that they aren't able to be here with us this evening. So if they get here later, we'll circle back to them. If not, we will see them next meeting. Okay, let's check to see if Board of Water Supply is with us. Okay, same for Board of Water Supply. They are protecting our water. Okay, let's go to Mayor Rick Langiardi's representative. And yay, aloha, welcome.
Okay, I'm gonna mess up your mic. Good evening and aloha. My name is Deborah Zeisman. I am the new designated representative from the mayor's office. Our charter, and I believe the deadline, sorry, is November 7th. The Charter Commission, yes, through November 7th. And the Charter Commission has also been holding a number of community input meetings as well to educate folks and answer questions about the Charter Commission. I did not have any open constituent concerns from this neighborhood board, but if there are any, I am new, so please catch me up. And it's my job to help find out and get those questions answered. So looking forward to working with you all. Thanks.
Mahalo for being here with us in person. You have quite large shoes to fill from the previous mayor's representative, who was pretty amazing working with him. And we know you will do a fabulous job as well. So are there any questions, comments, or concerns for the mayor's office? The chair recognizes board member Moon Kaihale.
Good evening and welcome, Ms. Seisman. Welcome to our board meeting. And just want to highlight a couple of weeks ago, well, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had a chance to not only attend but perform at the Fiji tribute at the Tom Muffet. We all know the Waikiki show. I just want to let you know it was a well-run, organized event. So pass it on to your, upper channels. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions, or concerns from board members for the mayor's office, in person or online? Okay. Any comments, questions, or concerns from the community at large for the mayor's office? Wow, I think this is a first. No. Okay, in the interim, as usual, if you have comments, questions, or concerns, and feel free to reach out to any of the neighborhood board members, including myself as the chair, and then we will relay it to hopefully get some answers and feedback from the mayor's representative at the next meeting. Okay, chair recognizes second vice chair, Dr. Keone Dudley.
I would like to ask a question. I'm sorry, it never occurred to me until you started talking and saying it's over. The trees on Makakilo Drive are dying, and there are so many trees now that don't have a single leaf. And just everywhere you go, I was just driving down the street here, what is it, Kamakali, and there are dead trees there. not a leaf on them. Could you find out what's going on? And if there's any way in the world that we can save the trees? We're losing so many, not just thousands, but probably millions of trees on the island. And, you know, trees do so much. They capture so much bad stuff and really save the world. So we need our trees. But I've been asking this for months, and I haven't really asked it of the mayor's representative, though. So let me finally ask the mayor's representative if we can get an answer to that. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns from anyone? Seeing none, we look forward to your homework responses. Okay, with that, now let's move on to the Hawaii Department of Transportation, if they are with us this evening. Okay, seeing none, let's move forward to Office of Foreign Affairs. Okay, seeing none at this time, let's move forward to the board's designated liaison for the OMPO report. Uncle Frank Ganario, you available?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm here.
Okay, aloha.
The October meeting of the Citizen Advisory Committee was canceled. OMPO did collect comments on the Oahu Regional Transportation Plan, or ORTP, for 2050. Public comments were divided into sections for Skyline, i.e. rail extensions, 10 pages, 111 comments. Sidewalks and bikeways, 8 pages, 83 comments. Bus rapid transit system, 8 pages, 81 comments, and roadways, 8 pages, 84 comments. My 2 pages of comments on Makakilo Drive were condensed into, quote, let's get the transportation improvement program to list the Makakilo Drive completion project moving forward, end quote. One other comment mentioned the drive, quote, Makakilo Drive extension / completion to Koalakai Parkway is critical need for safety and resilience, end quote. You can find all the comments on OMPO's website. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Uncle Frank. Appreciate it. Any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the OMPO report from the board or the community at large? Hearing none, thank you so much. Okay. If you're wondering why the chairs keep going back to his telephone, it's because we have community members trying to get onto WebEx and they don't know what they're doing. So they text me and email me. So in real time, I'm trying to facilitate and get them on board. So we do what we can to help our community members participate. Okay. For this evening, we have 2 presentations. Unfortunately, the first presentation, we will not be having the superintendent, Christine Ogura, from the U.S. National Park Service, who is the new superintendent at the Honolulu National Historic Site, just up the road, because of the current government shutdown. She did try to get an exemption to basically volunteer to come here and talk story with us because she realized this is very important, and she was denied. So it's not on her or the local offices, but something's going on with DC that she wasn't able to even volunteer to come here and speak with her hat on. Having said that, we are hopeful that this will be resolved by the next time we're meeting. Otherwise, we'll probably be discussing very different things in January if the federal government is still shut down by then. Okay, so having said that, we now go to the only presentation this evening to Laulima Affordable Housing Development on their Kapolei update, and we have the slides. Okay, so let's welcome up their representative, Mr. Kalana Park. Mahalo.
Hello, my kako, aloha chair, Vice Chair Lidstone. Good to see you folks, board members Hale and Dudley. Just mahalo for this opportunity to give you folks an update, not only on the affordable housing project, But also I want to talk a little bit more about the community park. I know that's something that we had mentioned the last couple times, but give you a little more details on that. And then most importantly, I know the most important thing is the traffic impact. So I wanted to end with that. Basically, that is going to be a report that you folks will be getting. Hopefully, anytime between now and the month of November. So we thought it's very important, as Chair, as you had said, is to get you folks engaged early on. So this is more of a high level, but then we're going to welcome your folks manao as the report comes up and be happy to address it at that time. So if we could go to our first slide there. Oop. Hopefully it'll come up. Like the pictures are not coming up. Oh. Okay, so more picture.
Yeah, let's take a
Quick pause.
be at ease, everyone, and let's try to see if we can
Okay.
get the pictures up and going. We'll take a couple of minutes to
Worst
try and
case,
figure that out.
I do have a printout, worst case, so you folks can pass around to the board and to the.
So let's take a recess at this time.
Okay.
Subject to the call of the chair. Okay, Mahalo calls us out of recess and back to order. Okay, so mahalo to the team of Menehune that helped us to figure out how to get PowerPoint to work with our Fandango technology, and we're ready to roll again with pictures. Okay, floor is yours again. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Chair. I forgot to introduce myself just in case. Kaulana Park, I'm a vice president of Laulima, Hawaii. I represent the master plan developers. Yes. So the first slide. So if you folks remember, we talked about this slide, I believe, Kip, the CEO of Kamaka, who's actually listening in as well, to presented this to you folks. So you're familiar with the site plan. Basically, it's going to be, it's an affordable housing complex. These are all affordable rentals, 100% affordable, no market units in here. 750 units, of which 500 will be for 120 up to 120% AMI, and 250 will be 60% and below, and that includes the kupuna housing component, which is 70 units. Just a little background. Since I came here the last time, I believe it was in July. So in August, we were approved by HHFDC board unanimously for the 201H exemptions as well as the low-income housing tax credits. But then we had to cross over to the city council, and that was approved again unanimously back in September for the 201H exemptions and the low-income housing tax credits. So I just wanted to say mahalo to you folks, because coming here a few times and just letting you folks know about it ahead of time. So mahalo for your folks' support for this. As we know, the kupuna was the big reason why this went through. But in its entirety, it's for the whole 750 units. Permits. So just a quick update on where we're at right now. So we have two big permits: the foundation permit, which we need to get first, and we're hoping to get that. I know hope is probably not the word that I should be used, but we're very wishful to get that by the ending of this year, followed by the building permit, which would follow first quarter of next year. It's an pretty aggressive schedule, 18-month build out for the entire project. So by summer of 2027 is when we expect to finish and complete all 750 units. As we know, the permits are subject to obviously DPP. So we're working with DPP to see if we can hold true to those foundation and building permits. As far as the unions are concerned, they are all on board with us, from the Alliance, which came and testified the last time, to the building trade. So very thankful that they're all on board with us, with our contractor. To help expedite the project, we're looking to try and do multiple buildings at once. So as you see in the site plan, there's 8 buildings, not including the clubhouse and some of the other amenities, the pools. So that aggressive schedule of 18 months will force us to try and do at least a couple of buildings at a time. So that's the plan. And we're very excited. We're very excited to get started on this. I know Kip's not here, but I can tell you that since we put in the application with HHFDC to where we're at today, we can't be more excited to get going on this. There was a question on your folks. The last time we came here was the AMI. So the average AMI for this entire project is about 100% or less. So again, 250 units at 60% and below AMI, and 500 units at 120. So what does that relate to in terms of rent? I know that was a question that was asked. So just to give you an idea, again, we cannot exceed 120% AMI, okay? So just to give you an idea of what that equates to. So for a 1-bedroom at 120% AMI, that equates to about $3,400 a month. For a 2-bedroom, that would be $4,100. And for a 3-bedroom, that would be $4,700. So Kamaka Responsible Development, which is the affordable housing developer, cannot exceed those amounts. What those rents are, what will it be? They are still doing their market studies as we speak. But one thing you should know is Kapolei Lofts, for an example, right down the road here, theirs is at 140% AMI. So to give you some comparison, 120 to 140, that gives you an idea of how much we can charge at the most. So again, this is all meant to be affordable project. Granted that it's in an ideal area in Kapolei, but we're hoping that the market will be something that not only the housing component, and that's what I'll get to next, is the park, the community park that we built. So if we could go to the next slide. So this is what it will look like. So what we're building here is not your typical, again, 4, 5, 6-story buildings that we're looking at. So this gives you an idea of what it'll shape up to be at the end. A couple of things to note, and again, coming off of your folks' questions, and again, mahalo for your folks, your resolutions that you gave to us and some of the questions that you had. So for the renewable energy side, we are going to do solar carports as well as solar rooftops. And for the EV charging, we plan to have retrofit up to 100 plus parking spaces for EV charging stations with the ability to do more if there's a need for that. Again, so what that means is we're not going to put in the actual charging station. We're going to bring everything up so that when we're ready to put the chargers in, we'll do it at that time. Storage was another thing that you folks brought up. So storage, there'll be storage for bikes, for boards, and also storage for enclosed above the bike racks. We'll have another area for potential temporary storage. I know that's something you folks had asked. So that is planned as well too. Again, these are all rentals and it's into perpetuity. It's not a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year. All of the units will be into perpetuity. And that's something that Kamaka said, let's do it the right way and do it. Let's not go for 10, 20, 30 years and do something else with it. So that's the commitment that we have made. Okay, we'll move to the next slide. So again, that's a 17-acre site that you're looking at. So if you look at this photo here, so the affordable housing is in the bottom, the white. And so what's above is the community park. So this community park is being built by the master plan developer at no expense or no cost to those that will be living in the affordable housing project. So this is about a 5-acre site. And this is not only for the affordable housing. Of course, they'll be the ones primarily, the 750 families will be the ones that utilize this park. But it's also going to be open to the public as well too. So if you look at anything that's any affordable rentals, I don't know of anything that has a park in addition to what you're giving here. So let me go into a little detail about what this park will provide. So there will be three things. One is the community gardens. I know you folks have brought that up. What is the sustainable or food elements that will be? So I'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the integration of the kupuna and the keiki into this site. And then last but not least, cannot forget the four-legged brothers and sisters that we have, right? The dogs. So there will be a dog part that we'll put in here as well too. So yeah, if we can go to the next slide. So this is the raised garden bed. So this is something that the CEO of the board had dreamed of doing, is how do we bring food sustainability into any project in Hawaii? We always talk about it. So he wants to be the one to try. So this is the first. In this community park, we will have 60 plus or minus raised garden beds for the residents. Now, is it required? No. So there'll be a list that if that's something they choose to do, that they can do. So these are some of the features, is drip irrigation, obviously saving on the water for it, using organic soils. The residence program, again, there'll be an application process for those who want to have their own gardens. And then what about our kupuna? So they'll have a little bit higher raised garden beds, and there'll be ADA accessibility. Okay, go to the next slide. So planting with the purpose. So this is where the keiki and the kupuna come in. So the keikis, we are looking across the street at a potential daycare center still in phase 1. So right across Kapolei Parkway. We're looking at a daycare center. We've been in contact with Department of Community Services, and we visited at least 3 daycare centers in Kapolei. So if we can get that on board in the near future, now you have the kupuna on site here at the Affordable Housing Project. And so how do you marry them together? Perhaps it's to this community park that they can come. So the vision I had is, when I grew up, you had to go to grandma's house to have stew every Sunday, sit down with the newspaper on the ground, and then they tell us their stories, right? So that's something that we're missing, is we don't have an area that people can congregate to have the kupuna passed down to the grandkids and beyond about what life was like. So perhaps this community garden serves more than just a feeding component. It serves as a place where knowledge can be passed down. And then on top of that, for the community, remember, this is not just for the affordable housing residents, but opening up to the community and have these monthly ohana days where you can invite the community inside. Adequate parking that we'll have for the community to come in. So this is kind of the concept that we're looking at to integrate, again, intergenerational, different age groups. Okay, go to the next slide. Okay, then the dog park. So your typical dog park, 2 play zones. So one for the large dogs, one for the smaller dogs, 4-foot safety barriers. But how about using napaka as the hedge that separates versus fences, right? So we're looking at that. And then shades. Shades is important. You ever go dog pot and no more trees, hot, right? So gotta have shades. So we're looking at perhaps Milo trees to offer that shades too. So here again, we're trying to incorporate what is it to this Aina in Pu'o Kapolei, but what is the native cultures and what we grew up with? How can we bring that into the site? Okay, go to the next one. Okay, so last but not least is the traffic impact analysis report. So again, this will be coming out to you folks to look at, to study, to give us your mana'o. Again, anytime between now and November is to come out. So I know I'm talking to Chair Paris Malo for having us here instead of December, because if you guys got them before, you would have said, hey, what the heck? You never tell me. You're supposed to come to us. So big mahalo for getting us on earlier, primarily for this. I know this is a very sensitive topic of the traffic congestion. So I'm going to give you kind of a high-level overview of this. Okay, go to the next slide. Oh, wait, before you go to the next slide, sorry. So if you look at the three shade yellow, so in between that is Kapolei Parkway, and it goes all the way up past right at the ending of the drainage. So when you see the two yellows on there, it ends right there as we speak right now. So Kapolei Parkway will go from that point all the way up into Ko'olina. Right, so it's a 1 mile stretch of the parkway that we're talking about. But for this particular slide, the consultants did a study on this and how does it impact those three. So LA, the top shaded yellow, that's the affordable housing complex. Below it is the LA2, we call it, and that'll be the future daycare center and perhaps additional affordable rentals that we'll do on that one. And then the one to the right is our Gateway Shopping Center that we hope to get going within the next year or two. So this traffic study looks at all the way up into where it's at now and then beyond into Kapolei Park. Okay, go to the next slide. So this is a summarization of the study that you'll be getting. So what does this Kapolei Parkway extension do? So it completes the long-planned network connection, again from Eva to Ko'olina, enhances the multimodal circulation linking Ko'olina and Kapolei via biking, walking, and transit potential. Improves regional and local vehicle connectivity and access. Of course, emergency access as well too is important, right? Has operational benefits except at two intersections. And you'll see it on the report. And then of course it supports the Oahu South Shore Path and the Hawaiian Rail Society operations. Okay, next slide. So this is, I know it's small on here, but this is an important slide because it talks about, it's a cross section of the Kapolei Parkway. So just to give you folks an idea. So 12 feet of multi-use path. So that's for biking, walking on your far left side. Okay. And then you got a 10-foot planter strip next to it. And then 2 lanes, 10 foot each of 2 lanes basically on this side. So that's on one side. And then you got your 16-foot medium in between. And then the right side duplicates what's on the left side. So we don't know of any other, if you look at this road or parkway, we don't know of anybody else that has done bike paths as well as planters, as well as the 2 lanes and the medium strip as well too. So this is something we hope that will bring, again, not only to this Kapolei Parkway, but for this community as well too. So you'll see this in your report, and we'll go into detail about what each element does. Okay. And then last but not least, so at the top side is your traffic and transportation. So when the consultants did the study on the traffic impact analysis report, it came up to negligible to low impact. And this is not just for now, this is for a 50-year study as well too. When you look at the report, you'll see what the impacts is on this. Then the rest of it below is all the other environmental assessment reports that we had to run as well too. So land use, biological resources, etc. Again, low, negligible to low impact. So again, you'll be getting this report. It'll be forthcoming to you folks. So please look at it. Everything that you see here will be included and some. This is just a high level. Okay. Next slide. Okay, I know it's getting close to the 10 minutes, but I hope that some of the questions that you folks had were in there. I know Dr. Dudley had asked about disaster relief help, so I'll address that as well too. So let me just cut to that. So I know the question that Dr. Dudley had was the windows was one that you had on the affordable housing. So what our construction guys has told me is that it's going to be well, the question was, what construction techniques will ensure that the structures are reinforced to withstand Category 5 conditions? So all homes and buildings shall meet or exceed the city and county's current codes But for the windows itself, they're looking at hurricane, I believe it's a Hurricane 3, which is 130 to 140 miles per hour. So that's what we're putting into that for that affordable housing project, just for the affordable housing project. Okay. The other one that you had asked about was, what about the space within the buildings? Is there a space where it's foundationally set? So yes, the answer to your question is it's on the first floor. They will, the foundation will be concrete as well as steel. That'll serve as the disaster preparedness space on the bottom. Again, these are 4 to 6 story buildings, but the first floor will serve as that disaster space. And then the other question was asked, what about a future community center? So we don't have anything planned as far as a community center in phase 1. But like I said, as we move towards the west side, there is a potential area that we're calling it a sports park, but perhaps that becomes the community center as well too. Okay. I think the one other one was the homes and buildings, passive cooling techniques. So all of our homes and buildings, not just phase 1, but all of the homes are going to be designed to capture the trade winds, which will come from the northeast side down to the southwest side. So that's another one that we have. And I think, Mr. Chair, I think that's most of the questions, but if I missed any, feel free to say one last thing. Sorry. There was a additional question about, so who is Laulima and where's your mission and where are your values? So as we speak, we're putting together a website that will explain it. But let me share something for now. So we all know what Laulima means, right? Many hands working together. So it's not just working together, it's working collaboratively and in unity. So there's 3 developers that are involved in this project. First time the three entities are getting together. Kamaka is one that you met, Kip, as well too. So you're taking 3 different developers trying to build out a master plan community for approximately 2,400 units over 500 acres, right? And so Laulima is not just the name, but let me take it a little bit deeper than that. Just again, this is my personal observation. So in the Bible, Hemolele, it talks about in 1 Corinthians 12, it talks about when the church does things, it has to work together, right? So many parts, one body. So we all know who the one body is. It's Keokua, right? Or Yesu Christo. So for us, here's what you need to know for now. 3 different developers. We have one foundation, and that is Keokua. And I can say that because I'm also a believer as well too. But these are not just me. We're talking about the Kips and the chairman. And so these are people of great faith. They're God-fearing leaders that are leading this. So you folks know the developers in Hawaii, right? I don't know of anyone that, as a developer, is of great faith out there. So that's what we're going to bring. We're going to bring, when I think Tiawe was the one, this got to be a game-changing thing. It may not be us, but if we stay a foundation to Keokua, I tell you what, anything can happen. So I'll leave it at that. But again, we're going to get you the website. But with that, it's been over 10 minutes, I think. So mahalo. So go ahead.
Mahalo nui loa. Thank you so much for providing an update and addressing a number of questions and concerns that have been raised in this process so far. And at this time, want to open up for any questions, comments, or concerns from board members. Chair recognizes Second Vice Chair Dr. Keone Dudley.
Aloha.
Aloha, Keone.
You know, category 3 is not enough. And the reason for that is we have what we call super category 5 hurricanes. Okay. They happen every 8 years. but they're happening more frequently. And now they're planning that by 2080, they're going to happen every single year. And the majority of them will be in the Northern Pacific. That's us. So, by 2080, we're going to have a super category 5, 200-mile-an-hour winds, okay? You're building for category 3. It can't be, They've got windows that withstand 236-mile-an-hour winds now. You've got to commit to this stuff because we can't build to kill people. We've got to build to save people. And, you say that you're a faith committed group, then, for God's sake, start to think about saving lives in hurricanes because it's going to get so terrible. Okay. Thank you.
It may not be for the affordable housing project, but we definitely will keep that in mind as we move west on the development. But you can't hold me to it. Oh, one more, Mr. Chair. So I wanted to touch upon, I know, Mikiala, the cultural, bringing the cultural advisors. So I know that I've met with a few of the cultural practitioners, but what I plan to do is continue to reach out, but to also bring some of the other community leaders in here so that you can teach us that not only the history, but how can we bring that into this 500 acres. So Ekalamai, I never recognized you for that, but I still look forward to our time together, if it be so, and Bulukoa and anybody else that can help us with this.
Mahalo. Chair recognizes First Vice Chair Michaela Lindstone.
A few questions. The average AMI is 100%. Is that correct? Did I hear that correct? A 2-bedroom is about 4,000 a month?
Yes, for the typical rent,
That
Yeah.
doesn't seem affordable to me.
but that's not saying that we're going to charge that. That's just what
You-
the maximum amount is. I'm not saying we're going to charge that. That's what it equates to, because that was a question that was raised: is what does that equate to in terms of rent?
And the rent after it's built can change though.
Cannot go higher than that.
For how long?
Perpetuity, like I said, perpetuity. That's a HUD regulation.
I have a few other questions because just listening, I feel like much of your slides and information is very aspirational, but not realistic. So, first of all, is the city a city park or will it be a private park?
So we are hoping to dedicate it to the city, but we want to maintain, so we'll do the maintenance of it.
Okay, good luck with that. There's very few examples of that here.
Yep.
Community gardens, the multi-generational component to it, is there a model for that anywhere else in Hawaii? I know there are many community gardens. I've never seen a multi-generational kind of impact come from community. Usually people do community gardens. It's something that they do for themselves or their ohana, but I've never seen it as something that links kupuna with other generations.
That's correct. That's our first attempt to this. It doesn't, remember, this is just the start of 60 plus. What we want to do is take this throughout the open space areas as well. So if it works, why not replicate it throughout the 500 acres?
Is it working anywhere else?
Not that we know of.
Okay. And then schools, and I'll just share with the chair because we've had so many development presentations and I've worked in the school system. So I have a lot of friends who are principals of schools here in this area. Schools are busting at the seams and it's so difficult to listen to a development when I know our schools are busting at the seams and schools are never brought into it, but there's children involved in all of this. So how are you folks addressing that?
So we have a 12-acre site that is dedicated for the DOE as an elementary. So that's towards the west side. But yes, it's already dedicated. It's part of the unilateral agreement that we have to do. So that is, and so I reached out to the superintendent for a meeting to start discussing that. Even though it's a ways away, it doesn't hurt us from discussing it now.
I feel like, and this is not on you, but I just feel like there are so many areas that are dedicated to schools, but the pace at which schools are getting built are much slower than the development, and it's detrimental to the community. You also mentioned adequate parking, and I love that, but that's an oxymoron in our community. There's no adequate parking anywhere. So like I mentioned, aspirational, but the reality, as a community, I feel like there is no one on your team that lives here. Because I think if you lived here, you would know, you would understand these challenges, especially linking the bike path to Ko'olina. I think we know already that I believe the road is not going to link to Ko'olina. And there are community members who are excited about your project because they think the road is going to link to. And one thing about our community, we've been promised so many things, and we get into this mindset that something is going to happen, but we were kind of, and I don't want to use this word for you, but just tricked into believing something. And I feel like our community is being tricked into believing that there's going to be an access road to Ko'olina, and there's not. For bikes, okay, but that's very different from roads. So I would, in promoting the bike path, explain to people that this does not include personal vehicles. And the potential impacts, that particular slide, I'm so sorry, but I don't believe it, because I believe there's so many potential impacts. Who did that study?
So this was conducted by HHF is the overall, but they subbed out to each of the other consultants to put that study together. You'll see it. You'll see it in the report when you get it.
Okay.
So
Because
I'm
personally,
glad that you're
I understand. Personally, I can't believe in this study because I live here. I see it. I breathe it. I smell it, everything. And that study just does not align with what the reality is. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Chair recognizes Board Member Moon Kahele.
Thank you for your presentation, Mr. Park. My biggest concern on new development ideas is the water, the sewer, the trash, all the utilities that now is going to be incumbent upon the community. Have you ever discussed anything about maybe a waste management involvement? Because, it seemed like on this side of the island, we get all the, the places for waste management right up the road, Wamanala Gulch, and they're thinking about other west side areas. Get plenty of room in Cuneo Road, places like that, downtown East Oahu, whatever. We need relief on this end. And my main concern is the water, the sewer, and the trash, sir. Can you address that and see?
So
let me
good
know.
questions. All the infrastructure stuff, as you know, these lands sat vacant for part of that reason is nobody wanted to put in the money to deal with those things. So as we speak, yes, that is something that we've budgeted for. We're also looking at different techniques on the sewer side as well as the water. So we've been in contact with the city and of course BWS on how do we address some of these issues so that, they're all in the same boat, or the water in particular. If we can minimize the amount of water or recycle water to some degree too, why not bring those techniques in? So we don't have the answers yet, but definitely we are looking at that. And it's not just a cost issue, but more or less, we know what's happening on Maui, right? With the water situation there. We don't want that happening to us here, but you got to get ahead of that, right? You got to get ahead of that with the different entities, such as BWS and the city sewer side. So yes, we are actively engaged. We don't have the answers yet, but we're working toward not just solutions, but maybe solutions that will help them as well as us, and most importantly, the residents that will be there in the future. Yeah, I appreciate the question.
Mahalo. Let's go to Second Vice Chair Dr. Keone Dudley.
I just want to come back to, I can't support this. And I don't think that the board should support it. And the reason is, honest to God, we're got to start preparing for the future. It is a crime for us to build anything that is not going to have protection for 200-mile-an-hour winds. It's a crime. And the other thing is, You know, you're talking about 750 homes, but at the same time, this project is another 2,400 houses. You know, and I agree with Mikiala that, you know, we were told that Ko'olina will not open the gate, and and you're telling us something different. I mean, I just don't believe it. Kaulana, I really like you, but I just can't buy this.
No, I hear you.
And I wish the board would take a stand against it.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns from fellow board members? Again, recognizing that a lot of the questions and concerns comes from the history of promises broken from developers over our area. And that there is no one doing a global plan for the second city so that we can appropriately address all of our needs and to make sure that quality of life is one that we're all proud of and can afford. Because of the fact of the matter is our neighbors are leaving right now because of the quality of life and the costs. Every other week, I get another kupuna couple telling me that they gotta go because they can't afford. They're moving to like Midwest or the Philippines, somewhere more affordable. So we gotta imagine better solutions and solutions that we can afford to live here, but also enjoy living here. So you guys got your work cut out for you. And at this time, well, we'd like to open it up for questions, comments, and concerns from the community at large. And we'll start in person. So yeah, come on down, Ulukoa, hand off the microphone and please speak to the, I know you're talking to Brada, but like, please speak this way so that we can see what you're doing instead of your back. Camera. Malo.
Okay, aloha. Thank you, board. Thank you, Kalana, Mr. Park, for your presentation. And there's a lot of good things in there. The solar power, the dog park, the alpaca, and what else? Had plenty good stuff. And kind of forward thinking. I'm worried about the kupuna. I don't know where the kupuna going to come from that can afford that, honestly, because I just lost my mom and I know she wouldn't be able to afford that. So, you know, but so realistically speaking. But I looked at my phone 1 year ago. I met this good man. We talked story in Ko'olina through a mutual acquaintance because of this project. So I shared the history to Mikiala's point about this area, the culture, the mo'olelo, the mele. I shared the cultural resources, the natural resources. The selling point was because someone in my community, Honokai Hale, informed Kaulana that we wanted a community center. And so I was told that, you know, they can help us get a community center. So I was like, oh, really? This would be a first. So I was like, oh, thank you. Well, fast forward, things kind of went sideways, or it didn't go the way I kind of like expected it to go. So nothing personal, but it didn't really turn out that way. So I don't think we're gonna really see that community center. But I gave them the blueprint, so that's that, right? So there went the community center. As for the cultural resources, it also came to my mind of about a possibility that this development would create a cultural park which would incorporate a lot of these cultural sites that I pointed out that was on their property. I was kind of offended at that because I didn't point it out for it to be incorporated in a park, right? In fact, when I was sharing it, it was kind of like between us at the table. for our halau, for our community, for our organizations to come together to malama these sites to protect it, not to be overtaken by some development, right? Now, I'm not saying that they would trample it and destroy it, but that just wasn't the idea, right? And again, it's not that they wouldn't, but that's another thing, right? And so, FYI, I don't know. There are cultural sites that are on the property, okay? I don't know what the status is of those sites. I don't know. I know where they are, okay? And I can point them out. And I don't know what's going to happen to them. I don't know. And nowadays, for the record, let's put this on air, okay? For the record, because nowadays, people, right? You got Amazon too, right around the corner, okay? They buy the land in 2021, right? They bulldoze them, and then they're going to ask for the permit in 2025. So that when they ask you for consult and you ask for a site visit, it's already bulldozed. Okay? We got to fix that crap, right? Oh, pardon. Sorry. So, I don't know. I don't know if the sites are there right now or what. Right? Maybe not to do even with Laulima. I don't know, maybe prior to that. So that's something else I got to address when we have our community concerns, when we have this little opening, maybe 30 minutes from now or what. So that's that. And then that also comes into play with the natural resources in the area, because with the cultural resources and the potential for destruction or threatened, sites is also the same way that our water resources and our whatever plants in the area, that's how they get damaged too, right? That's how they get erased because nobody is watching, right? That's all part of the plan, okay? So that's that. I guess that's all I wanted to say. And yeah, mahalo. I'm glad you're God-fearing. I am too. I was born and raised St. Rita, Nanakuli. But guess what? There's a lot of people in Washington, D.C. that they claim to be God-fearing too, And guess what? There's a lot of crap going around because of that. So, the Bible also says, let your yes mean a yes, and let your no mean a no, and none of this deceitful kind of stuff, right? So, anything can mean anything. So, yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Mahalo, Ulukoa, for raising the concerns. Yeah, if you would like to address the concerns raised at this time, sure. Come on down.
First of all, Luka, mahalo for being here, and ikalamai. If I did anything to offend you, brother, please ask for forgiveness. But to your good point, we got to kuka. You and Mikiala and I, we got to get together because there is an archaeological park. I think I may have mentioned that before, but we are going to build an archaeological park. So we need your manao, Mikiala's manao to make that happen. What that park can be is not just it's not going to be your typical, archaeological park. What else can we do with that land as well too? So again, that's part of the DOE unilateral agreement is the archaeological park. The other one that I wanted to mention was the community park that we had talked about. There is a land, again, far west, but that could be a potential that your manao that was shared. We want to hold on to that. The only thing we cannot do is we cannot obligate it to a specific community, i.e. Honokai Hale. But it doesn't mean that we cannot include your elements, your design, your manao. And of course, you're going to have access to it as well too. So again, ikalamai, if I did anything to offend you or if you took things the wrong way, my bad for that. So you have my word that my word is my word, my yes is my yes, my no is my no. So let's go. Let's get together. Let's continue. And Mikiala, yo, want you to be a part of that as well too. Because I know that both of you are the next. And I talked to Uncle Shad and a couple other homestead community leaders, and they say, both of them said, you are the future that needs to help with building at least our community. I'm not sure about the rest, but I can speak for our community as well as the developers that are with us. So we want you to be a part of it. We don't just want to hear your ideas and do them a separate way. We want to incorporate what you folks did. I mean, in Hawaiian Homes, that's what we did. We listened to the community and we acted upon what they said. So welcome you. And I'll be giving you a call. Mikiela as well too. But ikalamai if I did anything wrong to you folks. My fault.
Mahalo. Let's go with the other community concerns, questions, comments. Come on down.
Good evening. My name is Amy Bossler, a community member. Thank you for the presentation. It was very thorough. I'm going to reinforce some of the concerns that already have been mentioned. Adequate parking. Can you be a little bit more specific? What does that look like per unit? Is that one parking per unit, 1.3, 2, preferably? Parking is very tight on the side of the islands, and we don't want to have another situation where we have extra cars parking all along the parkway and having huge issues. So if you could be specific in what adequate parking looks like. And then my other question about the community gardens, whose job will be to tend to these gardens or manage? Because it's great that there's space, but it could be unused if it doesn't, you don't have a plan in place of who's going to be planting, who's going to be watering, where are the seeds coming from, where's the soil coming from? Because on our side, we need to mix a lot of things in our soil now because we have very acidic soil from years of pineapples. And then also you talked about the plants that you'd like to use in your design. If you don't have it already, I'm sure our chair, Paris, would love to send you. We have a very thorough list of plants. Good, please. So if you could just list some of those, and it's not just, oh, we're gonna plant some things that are fruit bearing, and you could, yeah, we would love to hear that you are using our indigenous plants as much as possible and some of the canoes that we value. And then also water. So are you using any or planning any water catchment systems or water reclamation just to kind of try to help preserve or catch some of this water for the Leeward Coast, because we are getting more arid every year. And then finally, education. It's a huge problem. I know every developer has to put money into the pot to the Board of Education, but it's always a concern for how that money gets allocated. And if that comes to our area or our location, does that mean building new schools? Like, it's always very difficult to hear that we're going to have 750 new families coming, because that could be thousands of children, and our schools are already overwhelmed. Thank you.
Mahalo for community member Dr. Amy Bosler, former neighborhood board member. Go ahead. Sure.
Sorry, what was the first one again? I got the master plan. I got the adequate parking. Yes. So to your good point, so Kapolei Parkway and as well as State Harbor Access Road, which will be opening hopefully soon, the off-ramp at least, right? So we definitely cannot have people park on. There's no way you can park on the State Harbor Access Road. Well, the same is told for Kapolei Parkway, which is why we're putting more than enough parking for not only the affordable housing project, but the community park as well to address that situation. To your good point, we heaven forbid that we have cars parked on Kapolei Parkway, which would not do good for the cross section that you saw there, right? So that's the reason why we've increased the amount of parking. Coincidentally, I'll share this much. Won't say the council member's name, but one council member, when we were going to the city council for this, had said, "Why are you guys putting so much parking for? Why don't you just put more housing units instead?" And yeah, exactly. To your good point, not only because of Kapolei, but just the concept for us is we cannot have people parking on Kapolei Parkway on there. So hope that explains that. I do. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I will definitely get it back to the chair for you for that. Yeah. And I'll get your information as well too. So what was the next one? The master plan? That's what you thought, the maintenance of the park? So yes, the plan is to dedicate it to the city, but the developer will do the maintenance of this. And this is something that was expressed by one of the council members that said, number one, they don't have the budget, they don't have the staff to do it. And then of course, everything else that comes with no maintenance of the park. So we said, you know what, we'll maintain it. We still have to dedicate it to the city, but we'll be the ones to maintain it ourselves. Okay. Next was, what was it? I put down yes for this, but the what? Yes. Yes. So the resolutions that there was two resolutions. One was the sustainable elements as well as the food. And so we are looking at that and trying to incorporate as much as we can, not only into this community park, but throughout the whole master plan area as well. Okay. And the water catchment, you said, so maybe not water catchment, but we're looking at what we call rain gardens. So rain gardens will help for the drainage system, but how can we reutilize that water that's coming down into a garden, so to say. So we're looking into that. It's kind of it's not really a new technique, but something we want to bring into the entire master plan area. And then last is the DOE. So like I said, when we initially had reached out to them prior to this past summer, at that time, we heard, not through the superintendent, but we just heard that the DOE was looking to close down schools, unfortunately, because of the amount of lack of, in some areas, the lack of student populations that was coming in. So we waited, and then now we're trying to come back out to utilize this 12-acre area for, maybe it's not an elementary public school, maybe it's a charter school that comes up here, who knows? But at least have the discussion with the superintendent. So yes, that's, again, we've dedicated that parcel. It's just a matter of our obligation is to make sure that we have it ready for them and then give it to them and then go ahead and build it. Is that everything? Okay.
Okay. Mahalo. Any other community comments, questions, or concerns? Come on down. Okay.
Thank you. Board members, as you know, I've been a hurricane protection advocate for a long time, since 2006. What everyone keeps forgetting about is the fact that the International Building Code is being ignored, that we have on this island the worst in all of Hawaii. All of the other counties are in accordance with what should be the building code. Our council, city council, sadly, did a 180-degree turn in terms of requiring that we be at least as safe in terms of our buildings, all new construction, as the rest of Hawaii. Sadly, we no longer have any requirement that there be safe rooms in new residential construction. They also, city council voted not to have the same rules in terms of the quality of the safety of the windows. What Dr. Dudley was trying to get them to understand in terms of this particular construction is you've got to have concrete if you're going to save lives. Nobody wants to build concrete because it's more expensive than the cheap plywood that everybody is building. It's all very nice to talk about having first floor concrete, but what does that mean? When we have 2,000 some new homes, that means what, 10,000 people? 10,000 people who are going to die on these fire trap construction that all the builders on this island are doing. There's no shelter on this island that's up to a Cat 1. If we have these 10,000 people in Kapolei, where are they going to go? Catalina the concrete buildings there are not going to let them in. Our commercial the companies that have the concrete buildings, the government buildings that are concrete, they don't want the people to come. The people are going to die in their unsafe wood homes. If you're going to build some concrete, at least use that concrete not for the first floor of the buildings, because the people who are living on the first floor, they're not going to want to have the people who are on the second, third, fourth, and fifth. And actually, I think if you have buildings that are that high, that many stories, I think the building code requires that you have some concrete on the first floor anyway. So that's no special good deal that they're offering. But the problem is, the people who live in those upper floors, they're not going to want to have all their neighbors come flooding down into their apartments as a safe shelter, even assuming that that concrete first floor is somehow safe. You're better off putting a separate building where you have standing room only, but at least it's concrete where people's lives will be safe. We're talking 10,000 additional lives here that we've got to think about. What can this builder do to possibly save at least some of those lives, because our government is not doing anything to build shelters for our people. Thank you.
Antisfeo, Breckenberg. So, yeah, one of our fierce advocates regarding emergency and disaster preparedness. But to Antisfeo's point, right, there are no shelters. So in this master plan developed community, it's like, where are the people going to evacuate to? So the recommendations that we've heard from community is that you should ruggedize the school that you're building so that it can withstand Cat 5 and pretty much be off grid. And you should also ruggedize the community center. And you should ruggedize the kupuna and the place where you can put the preschool kids. Community spaces should be ruggedized so that, and people should know that this is part of the plan, that they can go there in case of a disaster. Like, that should be part of the integrated master plan, at least. And the numbers got to add up, because you got to tell us, because you can say you're going to ruggedize them, but only going to fit 500 families when you get 2,200. So please let us know how many can actually fit in such locations if you guys go that route. Any other community questions, comments, concerns? Come on down.
Hi, my name is Leslie Keating. I'm a resident. I have to be very much in favor of this project. Not only am I excited for all of the community park and the gardens and just the closeness to easy place shopping and transportation. I mean, everything about this community allows people who are looking for something affordable, also wanting to be able to commute because they have to work somewhere. I think that high density housing is important. I think that our infrastructure is, less impacted the higher the density housing. We watch all of these other D.R. Horton, putting up single family home after single family home. And we know that that's actually where we're losing energy. That's where we're losing water. That's where we're losing, where it's making it that people need to have all these parking spots. And because we're spread out all over the place. And we need to focus on this type of high density housing and making it easier for people to live. But I also wanted to mention one more thing. If you're looking for parking, that community park, I noticed all those parking spaces. An easy, way to add those to your community is make them available to your community members from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. when the park is otherwise closed anyway. All it takes is a tow truck goes around, and if you don't have a parking permit to park there overnight because you live in the residence across the street, which is now it's great parking. Anyways, use that. But I am very much for any anything that allows people not to have a car. And I think this community is going to be one of those places.
Mahalo, community member, for raising some of the things that we've heard over the discussion of visioning next generation communities for ourselves. And that is being walkable, right? So you don't need a car, like integrated, where you can go downstairs in your building and get your groceries, your medical treatments, and drop your kids off at school or daycare all in one elevator ride, right? That would be super awesome in the higher density areas. So we can lessen the load on the rest of the infrastructure around. Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns online or in person? If not, any final mana'o before we wrap this section?
Just real quick, I know I spoke enough already, but I just want to say mahalo to you, Chair, and mahalo for everybody's comments. This is what it's all about, is to, sometimes you have concerns and issues, but if we just listen and do nothing with them, then what's the sense, right? So I do appreciate it. I know some of those are not easy comments, but I can tell you what, everything that you folks said is something that we will take back. Maybe it's not disaster center that we're building now, but maybe it's in the future. It may not be in the affordable housing project, but something we still got a ways to go. This is a 10, 15-year build out. So it would behoove us not to listen to you folks early on and get your folks mana'o. So as hard as it is, it's good. It's a good thing. I take it in a good way. And again, in Kalamai, if I did anything to any of you folks, I want to mend those relationships and continue to build. And let's do this together. Let's do it the right way. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Chair recognizes Board Member Tiade Ta'ala.
Aloha, mahalo for all the comments thus far. I'm a bit of a student of architecture and design, and there's an important design principle that states that form follows function. And so we have to ask ourselves, what is our function here as a community? What is a function of this particular part of the moku, part of this ahua'a? And then what is our function in terms of not just our own needs, but as essentially kupuna ourselves, right? Eventually we will have descendants. So in taking into consideration all the many mana'o that are shared here and it's certainly echoed in other meetings and just in our anecdotal spaces, I think it's really important. I know that it's really important to establish your why. And since you mentioned faith, the equivalent of that is your purpose, right? So if your purpose is profit, then that's what you're going to build for. That's going to be the form that surrounds your function. Your function is profit. If your function is to dupe people into thinking that the project is more pono than it is, and it's more capable than it is, then you're going to constantly create narrative, create form to build up that function, right? So my mana'o is that our function is to protect ohana, protect aina, to protect food security, to protect ola, our lives, and everything has to stem from that. And if it means that we cut profit, then so be it. If it means that it takes longer, then so be it. If it means that this second city isn't some high density Chicago wannabe, then so be it. When we look at what function is for ohana, it's not realistic to put them in places that just because some market study that we all know is biased because it's put out by capitalists and says this is how much people should be able to afford, right? That doesn't fly on the ground. That doesn't fly in our spaces with our keiki, right? So we can talk about these numbers as if, oh, anything below this is maikai. Anything below this isn't heva. It is heva, because we know what the reality is, right? So if our function is to treat each other well, not just now, but to treat our grandchildren that we don't even meet yet now well, then we have to build for that, yeah? Our function isn't to be anywhere else, America, or anywhere else, wherever. It's to be here. And on this particular side of the Moku, where I'm from, I don't think our purpose even to be second city. It's to be first of what we're supposed to be. Yeah. So are we supposed to be you know, mo ili ili built to the high heavens, to the level? No, I don't think so. We're one of the last places where kids should be able to walk outside and play. Do we need to correct some of our more consumptive behaviors? Absolutely. But it all goes back to taking care of each other. So to the point of education, we gotta have those things first. Profit should not be the infrastructure upon which we try to build. That is not the Hawaiian way. That is the others' way, not our way. So our function is to be what we know we ought to be. And that is to deal always with aloha. So whatever Pilikia's had, we need to have real ha'a and be really honest with ourselves. So we can be honest with each other about what our function is and how we're going to build a form around that. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Board Member Tialetala, reminding us that we're the first of what we envision. And that's the work of our community here, because the developers are working with us, but it's our kids, the grandkids, and the next generation that are going to live with our decisions to work together to figure out a better solution or refuse to work together and let just the cards fall where they are. So I believe in our community that we can and will make it better for the next generation and leave it just a little bit better. So let's continue to holomua with that. And now we transition to public input, where we allow everyone from the public to provide any mana'o, questions, concerns, and then we will move on to board business. So we're open. Come on down. Remember to please introduce yourself for the record.
Hello. I am Dietrich John Ulukua Duhilansat. I am from Honokai Hale. And just going off of what I said earlier is that my suggestion or recommendation is that if we can somehow, if it interests the board and the community, right? There's a lot of maybe we should have done this a while ago, but you know, when I was working as an archaeologist for a private firm, and I remember I had to go and do something in Kailua, and they had this they're pretty organized there, where you got to go meet with their committee, their cultural committee, and they review anything, any potential projects to see what's the cultural impact. Is it going to affect any cultural sites? And in connection with that, any natural resources, any iwi kupuna, right? All of that. And they really take a hard look at it and they make a recommendation and they ask the hard questions up front. And so my recommendation is, like, I think this is a pretty smart thing to do. I know they just finished a Pa'akai analysis for former Barbers Point, right? And myself personally, I was asked to be a consultant for that the Amazon warehouse that they want to do by the harbor. And then you got this project here, and there's so much things going on, right? And then, you know, you had the Paradise Cove one, and it's like it's piecemeal, right? As it comes along, and it's like, oh, okay, what's there? But why not, right? My suggestion is, why not have some kind of little committee? So maybe not here, right? Maybe okay, holidays come, maybe January, right? We figure out if we can have that on the agenda, right? Where 3 board members, 3 members from the community. I don't know. Maybe 4 board members, 1 member from the community. Maybe 6 members from the community that does the work, reports to a board member, whatever it might be. However you guys want to do it. I know there's community members that are interested, that are practitioners, kupuna, however you folks, you know, we can discuss it. We can put it on the agenda. But then we have this advisory committee, whatever, this group that can, as a project comes along and we can broadcast it out to the developers. You guys like do something here, you let us know ahead of time so that we can put it to our council, our committee, our cultural committee, and you give us 90 days or whatever it is. You give us the information. If you kind of like short on the information, we're gonna tell you what you're missing. And then we're gonna review it with that committee, da da da. They report to at the future meeting, then we tell, behind closed door here, whatever. This is our recommendation. There's these sites, this is unresolved, something is missing, there used to be a burial, whatever it is, there's an endangered plant. No. Or here's the mitigation. They can only do it if they don't mess around with this corner. Da da da, whatever. But it's better to do it that way than piecemeal, or like they do in Camel Industrial after the fact. They tell you, no mess around with the Opai Ula, and then what? We come back, Opai Ula gone. And we told them, the Kupuna told them, no mess around with this. What? Too late. Because what? Nobody was looking. So that's my suggestion. If we can put it on the agenda, I will work super hard to support however I can to be in this meeting to help whatever way. That's all.
Mahalo, community member Uluko, for your suggestion for a review committee on development projects that takes all of the collective wisdom and give them the chance, future developers, the chance to actually course correct before coming to the community forum. That sounds like something that we might be able to do. Okay. Online, we have E. Wiedemann. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Dee Wiedemann. I am the owner and event director for Aloha Racing, where we put on 6 5Ks, 10Ks, and half marathons each year. I'm here tonight to provide you all with the details of 4 events that we will have over here on the west side in 2026. Let's see, next year's events will be Akahai on January 17th, Ho'omau on May 9th, Laulea on July 11th, and Makoa on November 21st. The majority of each course is in Ewa, but all 4 will have athletes on the Makai shoulder of Roosevelt and wrap onto Coral Sea Road. This all happens very early in the morning and with no road closures whatsoever. Anybody out and about in the morning should be smooth sailing. If anybody has any questions or concerns at all, I can be reached directly through the contact page on our website, which is aloharacing.com. Thank you very much.
Mahalo for coming and letting us know about the upcoming events and how to contact you if there's questions or concerns. Okay,
You're very
next,
welcome.
come on down. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Leslie Keating. I'm a resident, but I'm also on the board of the high school band, and I wanted to remind everybody that this coming Saturday is going to be the Marching Band Festival, and so there'll be over 13 high schools performing. It's from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. This is raising money for not only new uniforms, which we need desperately because we've had them for like 20 years, but also the kids have been invited to go to Washington, D.C. this coming summer on July 4th, and they're very excited to go. And so we will be raising money for that event as well. So thank you so much. Oh, it's at the high school. Yeah, the Kapolei High School. Yeah. So.
Okay. Before you head off, is there a way for the community members that are interested to donate directly to the project, even if they can't show up to the event?
Yeah, there's a QR code that I could give later, but I don't have it on me, like it's a link, but I could give it to you. So.
Okay, awesome. No website? No,
no
Instagram follow?
We probably do have Instagram, but I have no idea how to, I don't do any of that.
Okay, we should talk offline to help
Yeah.
you guys fundraising efforts.
Thank you so much. All right.
Mahalo. Okay, next member from the community, come on down.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak. Let's see. My name's William Albritton, and I'm a Makakilo resident. And I came to give an update to the Makakilo community about the proposed Makakilo Bluffs development that I talked about last time. Let's see. So just 4 points I want to cover, 4 updates. We still didn't hear back from the developer engineer, Mr. Roy Ire. We tried emailing, but no reply. Then I spoke a bit to the owner, Mr. Craig Cook, and he was saying he's going to push ahead with the ag, so it is ag land. And then he's going to do vertical farming and microgreens. And then also he is aware of the sandalwood, the Iliahi plants that are up there. And actually, he talked to a DLNR botanist who kind of showed him around with the different Iliahi plants. And also the botanist apparently took some seeds as well. And then I asked him if he was interested in maybe conservation land going forward. And he said, maybe we can talk about it when the time comes. Then the third one is I did finally get in contact with the DPP. And one concern that the residents had, there's what looked like some land grubbing. So he had, Mr. Cook had a excavator and a dump truck and some kind of forklift and some kind of machinery. I'm not sure what it does, but there's some pretty heavy machinery that he had. So I did report it to DPP. There wasn't anything posted about any kind of permits or anything. And they got back to me, and they did say that inspector went out on October 1st, found minimal grading and grubbing. And they're saying the city's grading ordinance exempts grading activity for agricultural use, as long as it's, as long as it's being managed in accordance with soil conservation practices acceptable to the application's Soil and Water Conservation District. Yeah. And then they're going to check in still if that's the case. The West Oahu SWCD, that's part of our area. And then, so the change from ag to urban, there's 14.99 acres. The DPP hasn't received that permit yet. They did get a initial environmental assessment determination that they rejected due to insufficient information. So finally, I kind of dug around the internet a bit and found a document. I guess the former owner of the property went to the Water Commission, and I found a report dated October 19th, 2021. So about 4 years ago. And they did raise issues that we're raising now. So, and here's some quotes from that document. For the land there, they're saying it's not great soil, very dry and steep area. How much of the acreage is farmable? From analysis, 57 of the 86 acres is farmable, as it's very steep and doesn't suit well for farming. They were talking about the business model. They're asking if there's a financial plan behind the farm. And they know that it's proprietary, but to the extent it can be shared with our staff for analysis. The cost of putting the land in production, managing it in production, the cost of getting it in the yield, and where the market is going to bear and return all those costs. That would give us some confidence that there's a real farm here and not just an agriculture or a resident amenity. And then I'm sure you've seen those gentlemen estates in our community that's highly criticized by our community, as that's not what people want. We want real farming. And that was from 4 years ago. They were asking for well construction because of the lack of water on that property. I guess that's all I have to say. So thanks for the opportunity for the update for all the community members. Thank you so much.
Mahalo nui loa. Are there any questions from board or community members? Recognizing this was a previous presentation and follow-up right now. Seeing none, the only thing is I encourage you for whatever resources that you find that is helpful for our community members to be able to know or use. Just send it our way so that we can create a folder in the Google Drive so that everyone can have access that's interested in, so that they don't have to go and do all of the work that you did, that they can just look at the folder on the Makakilo Bluffs for any types of questions or concerns. And if you don't mind doing a write-up of your salient points, we can put in your report as well, recognizing this is an ongoing development that our community is concerned with. Appreciate it. Okay. Anyone online or, okay, come on down. Aloha.
Aloha, thank you. My name is Leticia Hernandez. I am a resident of the Villages of Kapolei. I just wanted to give you guys a couple updates as far as, my concerns last month. I did get to go to the senators meeting as well. I expressed my concern there with the, I don't know if they consider that southwest corner, right across Kapolei Walmart. That's where they're talking about the building of the new homes. That's where the veteran Akaka, Daniel Akaka veteran's home is at. My concerns there were basically, our VOCA board is trying to assume that property as well in an annexation. And basically their points to that was so that they could pay the VOCA for utilizing the property. How that makes sense and where we're at in this economic stage. There were reports previously that the Akaka was looking for some sort of federal funding relief to help with the operational costs. So I don't see how they could feel that that would be beneficial. My other concern at that time was the properties that are owned by HHFDC within our VOCA. They do have a 5-year strategic plan, which was approved back in November of last year. We're a few days away from November. And a lot of the administration stuff that they were talking about in their 5-year strategic planning has not yet begun. I did bring this to, I got to email Mr. Ping. I have yet to get a response yet, but I will be following up. Hopefully they're on here. And basically a lot that I am asking for in the transparency part is the financial reports, the meeting minutes, and that is all a part of this 5-year strategic plan. Being that one whole year has passed, nothing has happened, I don't think that it would be fruititious for us to take it over at the year 2030. I do know that in the whole month of research, there are portions of what belongs to HHFDC. The VOCA has agreed to take over in good faith to show that we're able to upkeep, sustain all of that. I don't understand how we can upkeep and sustain when we're not providing financials to actually show where this money is coming from and how it is going to impact, right? From January till today, they have a meeting today, so I don't know what the latest status of our financials are, but I do know our budget is also coming up, and that is a grave concern because if we don't have any transparency on where our budget from last year and where our variances are, how we could depict another 2026 budget. That's that. And then I also had come across the House Bill 1509, Act 189. That's for the Planned Community Associations Oversight Task Force. I am able to go through it, and basically what this is basically organizing a task force to look into any associations that are governed under the 421J. And right now, being that the state doesn't have an ombudsman for 421J, they only have for 514 condos. I would like, to see that if you guys could help me in my quest to try and get as much community association knowledge. I'm willing to do the legwork, but I guess basically understanding how all of this basically works. I know once it gets passed, it's like, hey, here, this is what you're operating under, this chapter, whatever, but I want to make sure that I take the time and do the groundwork, because what I am speaking for is for the future of my kids, my grandkids that are going to be taking over our home that is going to be subject to this community association and its bylaws. That's all I have. Thank you, guys.
Mahalo for the update and appreciate the work that you're doing and trying to make sure our community is as informed as possible, particularly the villages of Kapolei members as they go through this time of transition in leadership and staffing, and particularly with the development that affects all of us in the northwest corner on Farrington, across of Walmart, next to the Akaka Center. So lots of outstanding questions, and the financials will be super helpful for alleviating concerns or helping the community recognize maybe we should pivot. Okay. Any other community concerns, questions, comments from the public? Okay, hearing none, let's go through the electeds. We already heard from the mayor's representative. Councilmember Andrea Tupola is not with us. Oh, but her representative is online. Okay, right on. Aloha.
Aloha, can we hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, Chairperson, the whole board. We appreciate your guys' time. Once again, my name is Jeannie Timotao. I'm from Councilmember Andrew Tupola's office. Such a great evening today. I just only have a few things to report. This past council, Bill 62 from US Vets vehicle registration that has passed from the introduction with Councilmember Tolba's office along with ours. So to our US Vets, we want to give back, and this is allowing them to have one of their vehicle registrations pretty much waived. Hey. So that's one good thing that came through. So many more works to go. We also do show that our R3 program, the Restore, Reconnect, and Revive, had moved to our Kapolei State Library. So that's going to, this program will discontinue effective as of November 6th. It went from the Dream House to the State Library, but the one thing that our office also wants to make sure that we acknowledge and give recognition to would be to Board England along with Board Maderos for coming and volunteering on our Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays during that time frame. They came out and assisted with this initiative to go and outreach and bring as much as those in the homeless area to try and get their assistance for this program. Much mahalo to you both for your hard work and the volunteers that you provided. We are showing that this upcoming Saturday at the Blaisdell Price into Paradise for first-time home buyers. For those who are interested, we do have our website, and there is the time frame from 9 to 5. This whole function is actually free. So as long as you register, you can get it for free and get all the information that is needed. We do have city departments involved with it too. For example, the DPP will be there as long with the different departments as well. So it's an exciting event. Hopefully everyone can come. And for those who are looking to get more information, we advise you come on over to get something that is absolutely free. And I believe there's one more item that I wanted to address because I know, let's see, Vice Chair, let's see, Board Dudley. This has to do with your monkey pod trees for the Makakilo Drive. So I am showing that I did submit a request earlier this year to do the maintenance because you saw how the monkey pod trees unfortunately were looking sparse, like pretty much dying. So I do know that Duff had gone out there and let's see, and DP Department Parks and Rec, they had gone there to go ahead and investigate because the contract to do maintenance was up until May of 2025. So when Duff went to go inspect the monkey paw trees that did look really sparse, they were able to notice that it was due to lack of water. And there was a report maintenance in mid-March that the irrigation was turned off. So they just wanted to let us know that it was completed the repairs, and Duff is on top of ensuring that they wanted to go ahead and continue the recovery process for those monkey pot trees. But if it's still not looking to where it should be, I'm going to go ahead and submit another request to them to say, hey, can we do another follow-up? And because our constituents and of course our neighborhood board is still seeing that it doesn't look as healthy as it should be. So I'll go ahead and do another request for you, okay? But other than that, that is nothing else that I need to report. Is there anything, questions? I am more than willing and able to assist anyone at this time.
Mahalo for the report back and the good news about some progress for the trees on Makakilo Drive. Any questions, comments, or concerns for Council Member Andrew Tupola's office from the board or the community at large? Hearing none, you don't have homework. Good job.
All right, you guys have yourself a great evening. Thank you so much for your time. Aloha.
Aloha. Let's go to the congressionals. Is Ed Case's representative here, Uncle Nestor or otherwise? Or someone from Joe Takuda's office? Actually, no, they said that they weren't because they were dealing with things in DC. Never mind, I remember now. They're currently working, trying to figure out how to get the government back to back on funding and return to work. Okay, let's go to Governor Josh Green's representative. Is Uncle Gordon Pang or someone else available? Okay, awesome. Gordon, when you're ready.
Sure, thank you. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chairs, board members, fellow West Oahu residents. I'm Gordon Pang. I'm your representative to the governor's office, so I'll take any concerns you have to them and try to get you some responses. I don't think I had any homework. I do know that I did get some correspondence from VOCA members. I ask that you please email me again because I fell ill again and that kind of threw me off my rhythm. And I was going to talk to our VOCA people about it, but did not have a chance. So can you email me again? And I'm going to my email address in chat. There you go. I know there's lots of concerns about the development that's going up throughout the west side. And I understand a lot of concerns, especially because I live here too. But housing is a priority issue for this administration. And of course, for my agency, we try to take as much into consideration as possible. I urge you to make your voices known as much as possible, both to us, the HHFDC, as well as to your legislators, both at the state level as well as the city level. You know, I know that there were concerns about the possibility that there may or may not be a thoroughfare all the way to Ko'olina through Kapolei Parkway. I remember that discussion from way back when as well. It's I don't know what I can tell you other than that. You know, these folks can promise to do what they do, and it's up to their neighbors to follow through. We can't force people to open up their property for the parkway. At least I don't think so. We could exert some, you folks could exert some political pressure on them, but short of that, I'm not sure. So with that, again, I apologize to the VOCA people. I was going to talk to them, but I've been out sick or working from home, so I have not been able to speak with them. And please do email me back again your concerns, and let's start that from scratch. As for what Ms. Timoteo said about the First into Paradise, yeah, we're taking part in that too. We've got some home ownership programs coming up that to unveil, and our people will be at the Price into Paradise event this Saturday as well. So yeah, we support that, and we encourage folks to attend if they want to think about the idea of home ownership. So with that, I'll let you guys have the floor. Thank you.
Mahalo, thank you so much for the update, and sending you lots of aloha regarding your continued health concerns, and wishing you much life and healing in your recovery, because you're a part of our community, you're a neighbor, and you help us get answers, even if the answers might not be the ones that we wanted. Okay, so any questions, comments, or concerns for the Office of the Governor? Going to Second Vice Chair Dr. Keone Dudley. Go right ahead.
Gordon, I just want to say that, you know, we are having this special joint meeting of 8 or more neighborhood boards. And it's going to take place in November the 20th. It's going to be at Pearl City Elementary School from 6:30 until 8:30. And if there's any way that we could get a representative from the governor to come to that and listen to our plea to start building hurricane shelters and help people fortify their homes, it would really be good. I know you've been sick, and I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but if you get better and feel like you can somehow contact him and see if we can get somebody important to come and get back to him with our real concerns, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Any other?
November 20th, you said, right? November 20th?
Yeah.
November
Yes.
20th.
Yes.
Yes. At Pro Ridge Elementary School, hosted by Pearl City Neighborhood Board, primary contact, and the current time is set for 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Details will be forthcoming, but that's the block that we're currently working towards. Any other questions, comments, or concerns for the governor's office? Okay. The only thing I would like to flag is that we do have a resolution, one of the many, but one of the resolutions that if we pass, calling for land restoration, equitable compensation, and community investment as the governor moves towards the military land acquisition situation. So with some particular asks in resolution form, but just to let you know that we may pass that tonight depending on votes, quorum, and community input.
Okay,
Any
I'll listen
other?
for it. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, let's go to the next. Anything from the Senate with Senator Gabbard's office?
Yes. Hi there, board
Hey.
and community members.
Aloha.
I'm Melanie, Senator Gabbard's community liaison, and I just have a quick invitation for everybody. Senator Gabbard's next Listen Story community meeting is this Saturday, October 25th, 9 to 10 a.m. at the Kapolei High School Teachers Lounge. It's a hybrid meeting, so just email our office to RSVP for the Zoom link. Our guest speaker is going to be Ken Kakesako, and he's from the Hawaii Department of Education. And he'll share an update on West Side schools. But this will be Senator's last Listen Story of the year, so please join and bring your questions and ideas before the 2026 session begins on January 21st. Also, Senator's October newsletter is live with community updates, and I'll be sure to put that link into the chat. And other than that, please feel free to contact our office anytime if there's anything we can help with or if you have any questions. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions back to the Senator.
Any questions, comments, or concerns for Senator Gabbard's office from the board or the community at large at this time? Seeing none, just reiterating the concerns that were previously raised at his previous Listen Story on the villages of Kapolei situation would be helpful, that we've heard it and we echo the concerns raised. Okay, let's move forward.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we missed you at the last special meeting even. No, I'm just playing with you and all the rest. We were doing administrative work.
I didn't think you'd call me out.
No, nobody else came because you weren't supposed to. Okay, let's go to Senator DeCourt, Representative Garcia, Representative Souza, or Kila. Okay. Going back, last call for any of the agencies or electeds that didn't come, HPD, Board of Water, Hawaii Department of Transportation, OHA. Okay, hearing none, we will be moving forward now with board business. Okay. First up on the lineup is approval of meeting minutes. We have circulated the September 24th, 2025 minutes, but the October 13th one is still pending completion and circulation. So we will defer October 13th, and the chair asks unanimous consent unless there's any changes to the minutes for September. Yeah, we have people online. Yeah. Okay. Hearing no one wishing to make any changes to the minutes, the chair will call that by unanimous consent for the September 24th, 2025 minutes. Next, we get to do a fun thing to see if we are set to see if we can fill a vacancy, a recent vacancy. Okay, so we have two residents that have verified before the meeting. Dr. Amy Bosler and community member Thad Sprague. Are there any others wishing to be considered for the filled vacancy at this time? Okay. Okay. Hearing no other members of the community wishing to be considered, are there any nominations for the vacancy to be filled by the two verified people?
I'll nominate Thad Sprague.
Okay. We have Thad Sprague was nominated, and we have Dr. Amy Bosler is nominated.
I nominate Dr. Amy Bosler.
Okay, both of them been nominated. So at this time, before the vote of the board, let's give them no more than 3 minutes to come and share with everyone the good work that they're doing and why they want to be a part of the board or anything else they want us to consider. So we will start with, you guys want to jump in the poll? Okay. Anyone want to volunteer to go first? Ladies first. Oh, that is being a gentleman. So, okay, let's go with Dr. Amy Bosler first, and then we'll go with that after.
I apologize. I did not prepare to speak. I did not know this was part of it. So I served many years. I served our Leeward community, Kapolei, Nanakuli, as an educator. And after having children, I have been homeschooling. And so I really appreciated my time as a board member here the past 2 years because I feel that's my ability to serve my community now and my way that I can give back. So some of the things that I have supported, I supported bringing the Board of Water Supply Day Without Water here 2 years ago. It was wonderful. I asked for it and they listened and came. So it was great experience for our community. I'm always a huge supporter of our public schools and educators. I have supported our veteran communities on island. I am a military spouse, so they are always near, you are always near and dear to my heart. And right now, or in the past, I sat on the board as the secretary for the past year, and now I'm on the holiday committee. So I'm responsible for designing our community tree, which I'm going to talk about tonight, and how I'm bringing people together. So my goal and why I want to be on this community is I would like to continue sharing my knowledge, experience, and my love and passion for the community. I really do believe that our diversity makes us stronger as a community, and I think that's a beautiful part of Kapolei. We have a lot of many different voices. Thank you.
Mahalo, Dr. Amy Bosler, for your continued service and your willingness to catch cracks with the rest of us on the board. So let's go to now board member aspirant Dad Sprague. So
thank you. Good evening. I will be brief because all of you know me. I have been serving on the board or on committees for years and years. I believe the only current board member with more seniority than me is Dr. Dudley. I've served in a variety of capacities. I've been treasurer, I've been vice chair. I have never been chair. I've also never been secretary. But other than that, I've worn just about every hat that there is. I've served on the transportation committee. I'm currently on the beautification committee. I would love to get back on the board and continue to serve the community and help wherever I can. That's it. Thank you.
awesome. Thank you so much, Thad. And the chair recognizes two outstanding members of our community that already serve in various capacities and willing to fill the vacancy. So at this time, we will have to do a roll call vote for each, and I'll hand that over to the trustee neighborhood board assistant, Jeffrey.
Okay, so for those that may not know how this process works, with both nominees, the board members that are present, both online and in person, need to share the last name of the person they wish to fill the seat. That person needs to receive the quorum vote of 5. So currently present, we have 6 total board members. Wait, 7, I correct myself, 7 with board members England, Medeiros, and Ta'ala online. So when I say your name, please say the last person of the individual you wish to fill the seat. And just to remind that last names are Bosler and Sprague. Board member England online.
Okay. I'm working with both of these people on separate committees. This is interesting. Okay. Let's see here.
You can also abstain. Just
No, I'm so sorry. I would be in person today, but I have a terrible cold. No, I did that the last time on the October 13th meeting, so I'm going to have to really be brave and just say the name. So I am going to go with Bosler.
Thank you. Board member Dudley. For the record, he did say Sprague. Board member Ferreira is not present for this vote. Board member Hale. Bosler. Member Lidstone.
I'm going with seniority here. Sprague.
Medeiros online.
I'm sorry. I got kicked off and I'm back on. Could you repeat what I'm voting on? Sorry.
So currently we're voting on filling the vacancy. There are two nominees, resident Amy Bossler and resident Thad Sprague. I don't know if you were on to hear um, the brief as to reasons why they wish to be on the board, but those are the two we are currently voting for.
Oh, okay. Amy Bossler.
Thank you. Board Member Ta'ala
Bosler.
and Chair Paris. The current vote count is 4-2 in favor of Bossler at the moment.
Okay, Bosler.
And with that final vote through that first roll call, resident Amy Bossler has received a quorum vote of 5. She is elected to fill the vacancy. I have the paperwork for her. She can sit with the board for the remainder of the meeting. Chair, do you wish to take a recess and do the oath of office, or would you wish just do this separate? It's totally up to you.
Yep, let's do the recess.
Okay.
Let's return from recess. Okay, let's give a round of applause to our new servant leader and returning to the bench, Dr. Amy Bossler. And congratulations also to Thad Sprague for his continued service. And yeah, he's not going anywhere. Now let's move to item C of board business. So before we get to this section, as we approach it, I just want to emphasize the importance of addressing the matter before us with kindness and respect for all parties involved. We are a community that values diverse perspectives and must be at the forefront of our discussions. So as a general matter, if anyone, board members or community members have an issue with board members, you have a number of ways to try and resolve them. The first and most appropriate is we'll talk to them about them. Okay. And if you can't, for whatever reason, talk to them, feel free to contact the chair, and maybe the chair was able to help you resolve the issue. And you also have the opportunity to file a complaint with the Neighborhood Board Commission, but that's how you resolve issues with any of the board members in the general situation. And if you're an officer like myself and Dr. Dudley and the first vice chair or the secretary or the treasurer, then you also have this means which is before us on the agenda. So per Neighborhood Board Plan 214-121, an officer may be removed from office at the meeting of a board by a majority vote of the entire membership to which the board is entitled. So what this allows is, it's because the board members elected us, we get to decide whether or not they should continue serving or serve in a different capacity. It's up to the board. But this also allows the community members a public forum by which to address their concerns with any of us and our leadership. And this is what we're doing tonight when it regards to the second vice chair position. Again, I want to ensure everyone that no formal complaint has been filed against the second vice chair in which I received any notice. And tonight, our discussion is not a formal complaint. Again, we will be discussing the second vice chair position and whether or not the board members should consider removing the second vice chair from current position. Now, we'll open up momentarily for public input for anyone to share on this agenda item. And then afterwards, in order for us to move forward with discussion, a board member must move for the removal and must be second before further discussion. Okay. Are there any questions in what we're doing right now? So this is a means by which the community can provide accountability and engage in a process by which to keep their officers of the board accountable or board members accountable. Any questions? Seeing none, Then we are open for public input on agenda item 6C, removal of Officer Dr. Keone Dalia, second vice chair. Going once, going twice, come on down.
I feel like I missed something here, and I don't want to know what I missed, but I just want to say that Dr. Dudley's been a champion of the community for a long time, and he's been a champion of the environment for a long time, and I've admired him for that. And even when he was arch enemies with my auntie, you know. But I've always appreciated that he stood for the environment. And you know, even earlier tonight, he was, "Hey, Kalana, I like you, but I cannot go for this. I cannot go for this this project because," and it's a valid thing because you know, he's been talking about the climate change and how the weather, you know, he's been taking a strong stance, you know, with that. And you know, maybe some other things happened and I don't know. So I cannot speak to anything else, you know, because I've been gone. I've been in Europe, you know, this and that. But I just wanted to say that because I appreciate that he's been a champion of the environment.
Dramatic things.
Previous. What was that? Oh, okay. I appreciate that he's been a champion of the environment before it was an in thing to do. Back when there was like the Green Party kind of thing, right? I remember that. I was a kid, but I remember. So that's all. I just wanted to say, and so, you know, with whatever I missed, and I don't know what, you know, I don't know. I think it just deserved to be said. That's all.
Mahalo. Thank you for your testimony. Again, recognizing that the impetus for this was that there was raised concerns from the community regarding leadership style and communication, and giving everyone ample opportunity to be involved in the process for addressing that. We have this agenda item this evening. So for those that wish to speak on this matter, they can. And for those that don't wish to speak, that's fine. But the chair takes it that after we talk story about this, we going to close that and move forward with recognizing that you got to take other options if you still have concern, like talking to them in person or going to the NCO. Make sense? Right. Okay, mahalo. Come on down.
Hi, my name is Leslie Keating, and I'm a resident. Although I don't agree with Dr. Dudley on everything, I really appreciate his spirit and his fight for what is overall like all of our safety. And although I'm different in that I think that population is coming no matter what we do, people will be migrating all around the world. And if this place is still habitable, there will be many more people than, you know, we now think of right now in populated areas. But going beyond that, I share all of those climate change risks, and I appreciate his voice and his stubbornness in trying to make change in what time he has left on this earth. And I hope that's a long time. I've never seen a board member more committed to coming all the time. I mean, I've seen almost everybody else more absent, and that's just on the ones that I come to. But I mean, so I just want to give my full support to him, you know, and I hope he serves us longer.
Mahalo. Anyone else wishing to testify on this matter? Anyone online? Okay. Hearing none at this time, as the procedure, before we get into discussion, we would have to have a motion and a second. Otherwise, the motion fails and we move forward. So the chair is now querying the body. Is there a motion to remove Dr. Keone Dudley as second vice chair? Right. Okay, it's been moved by Board Member Moon Kahele to remove Dr. Keone Dudley as second vice chair. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, it's been seconded by Member Carol England. Okay.
Who seconded the motion online, just to clarify?
Carol England.
Thank you. So it's moved and seconded. So now the board members can discuss at this time. And the first person that gets to discuss is the move on. So if board member Moon Kahele wishes to share, because again, you can. And just reminding everyone, like the board decides whether or not any of us is behaving of the office according to our own criteria that we may or may not have in common with everybody else. Okay, so the chair yields to the board member Moon Kahele if he wishes to speak, but he doesn't
Thank you,
have to.
Chair. It is with heavy heart I share this with Keone, who's I've been, we've been neighbors for years here on the board. It's time to step down. You're like brother was saying, you're a champion of so many things. We respect everything you share. But at times it can be when we're not here together, you can be too aggressive and you represent our board, not only through our body and represent us, but when you share with other entities in the government or other neighborhood board members, which it gets back to us. And I know you're, like the lady was saying, you're hard-headed, you're stubborn, but you represent District 34. And however you handle your interactions with other boards, we love you on the board. I still want you to be on the board, but in your present capacity, maybe it's time to step down and let somebody else, step in and carry on your legacy that you've worked for so many decades, probably 3-4 decades worth. Like I said, it's a heavy heart, but I guess I needed to share it with you, my friend.
Mahalo. Is there any other discussion from fellow board members? Again, you can or you may not, but we will be voting on this matter. Okay.
Chair.
Chair recognizes member Carol England and then first vice chair Michaela Lindstod following that.
I'm just getting clarification. You said that you can either say or not say anything. Since I second it, should I say something or what would you like for me to do?
As the chair, what I'd like you to do is whatever your heart compels you and your conscience decides for you, like it's up to you. You can share or not. So just to clarify procedurally, if you second the motion, what you're saying is, I believe the board, the body should have a discussion. It doesn't mean that you support the position or you oppose the position. It just means that you think it merits a discussion. So you can share in support, you can share in opposition, you can share in neutrality, you can not share. You got options. Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. And the reason why we need more discussion, Dr. Dudley, was that it was the October 13th meeting that I was taken aback by your gesture you did to a fellow constituent. I can see if it was between board members, we get, we get excited or passionate about our ideas, but what you had did to a constituent, to a community member, I was shocked. And this is the reason why I wanted to second for discussion, sir. I admire you. For the last 18 to 2 years, I have heard you. You're passionate about your issues, but it was that October 13th meeting that did it for me.
Mahalo. Are there any other board members willing to discuss after Mikiela? I forgot you. Go right ahead. Go, Mikiela.
Mahalo. I can tell this is a difficult issue for this board because you can just see it in Kara's face. She's not smiling. She doesn't have that upbeat personality. I know this is hard on you, Kara. It's hard on all of us, and I have to share. There's a lot that the community doesn't know. Some of these community complaints did not come to the chair, but came to others of us on the board, me being one of them. And so he had not known about some of these community concerns about Dr. Dudley's behavior. It's difficult because I respect, like all of us do, Dr. Dudley to the utmost. And those also in the community who had concerns also started their concerns with how much respect they have for this man. He has earned that respect. He has earned it. So this is a very, very difficult position for us to be in. I asked the community members if I could share their concerns with Dr. Dudley, with Chair Paris, because, are you just expressing it or do you want us to do something about it? And they explicitly said they want us to do something about it. So this is us doing something about it. This is us saying that as a community, if you come to our meeting, we want you to feel safe. If you come to our meeting, we want you to feel comfortable. And these community members didn't feel safe and don't feel comfortable, want us to do something about it. I also asked these community members, do you want Dr. Dudley off the board? And they said no. They just want us to do something about it. So this is us doing something about it. We're humbly asking Dr. Dudley to step down from his role as vice chair, to remain on this board as a respected member of this board. You've earned that so much. Your passion has somehow skewed some community members. And it deeply, deeply disheartens us that it's come to this. But I will be voting today, not for what I want, but for what the community wants. That's why I'm here. Mahalo.
Any other discussion? Okay, Chair recognizes Second Vice Chair Dr. Keone Dudley.
Thank you. In the first place, what happened? Lee Kobian was here. He was taking video of the meeting and especially of me. Let me read what I've got. You must know, though, before we go on, that I did flip him the bone with both hands. But there was good reason. One would ask, what would ever make you do such a thing, Keone? That's so unlike you. Lee Kobian is one of the most evil men I've ever met. There are people who are killers, murderers. This man is obsessed with completely destroying anyone who opposes him. He just goes about it in a different way. He digs for information he can use against you, and then he finds every way he can use it until he destroys you. That's another kind of murder in my book. A few years back, he came to our board a couple of times pushing his racetrack, but it is only a block or so from the Kalailoa housing and a few blocks from the Hawaiian homesteads. We didn't want to see these people tortured for hours every Saturday. And we had already supported putting the racetrack on the other side of Kalailoa, touching the fence at Campbell Industrial Park. I was one of the strongest speaking out. And since we opposed him, he never forgot it. Any chance he can get to say things publicly that will turn people against me, he does it. And he researches to find stuff about me. Did you notice in the video clip, he says, "I love you, Keone, my buddy from Culver City." Culver City. Although my family lived in Hollywood at the time of my birth, I was born in Culver City, in the Culver City Hospital, 30 miles away. I never lived in Culver City. I have no association with it whatsoever. Why was he mentioning it? Because he searched my records and came across my birth certificate. That is the only place in all of my records where Culver City is mentioned. Chair Paris wrote a note today saying that it was not the neighborhood commission that had raised the issue of me stating that I represented the board when I testified against the racetrack at the city council a few months back. It must have been Kobion who raised the issue. That's why Kobion was at the meeting last week. It was his issue against me. So after I testified against his racetrack, he searched through my testimony, found that I had said I represented the board, and got Chair Paris to bring it up and make me look bad. Who do you know that would go through so much trouble? He's obsessed with destroying anyone who opposes him. You remember that I asked Chair Paris last week if he would stop Kobion from filming us with his cell phone. He said he couldn't. Kobion said if he was not telling him to stop, he would continue, and he began to focus on me. When you are sitting across from the devil who is taunting you, you oppose him strongly. I did, gesturing with both hands. I know I was wrong to do that, and I apologize to the board for my actions. Again, to hurt me as much as he could, he published the video of me giving him the finger on social media. Then he sent copies to all the neighborhood board chairs to make sure that they saw it. Over my 28 years on the board, I have taken hundreds of stands for the good of our people. You have rewarded me with the honor of being second vice chair. If you vote to remove me, he wins again. I think this board really needs to take a stand against him, and you do that by voting against him on this issue and keeping me as second vice chair. Thank you.
Mahalo, Dr. Dudley. Is there any other discussion? Yep. Let's go to Dr. Amy Bosler first, and then followed by First Vice Chair Miguel Linstone.
Chair, I did see the emails back and forth, and I did see the unprofessionalism between the two men. This seems like it's a personal issue between them. I'd hate to lose Dr. Dudley because he has been such a wonderful mentor to many of us and a great advocate. I'm also just wondering what punishment would this be for Dr. Dudley other than an injury to his pride by stepping down? What would he lose? And also, could we possibly resolve this by working with the two men, possibly, I don't know, apologizing to each other as adults and professionals? Yes, thank you.
Okay, so regarding what does Dr. Dudley do? I can't speak to whether or not it will impact his pride, but I can speak to the office, which is the second vice chair, because we're voting on the position of second vice chair of whether or not Dr. Dudley should retain the position. Doesn't lose a seat on the board, doesn't lose people's respect. It's just whether or not, in our own judgment as board members, we believe that he should step down from the position at this time because he serves at our largesse on our behalf, not on the community's behalf, not on behalf of the city. He serves on behalf of just the board members in his position. Second, whether or not the gentlemen that you indicated can speak to each other and apologize or whatnot, that's beyond the scope of the board. This is this is the only action that the board can take, because this is the only action we have purview over, which is our officers. If Dr. Dudley was doing certain things, or I myself, as a regular board member, was flipping the bird, or any other action that other people might find ostentatious or vulgar or whatnot, that's protected under the First Amendment. And we can't do anything as board members about their behavior as a board. As fellow human beings, we got a lot we can do. We can talk to each other, we can share, we can encourage, we can pray, we can do all types of things, but that's as humans, beings, Kanaka. As a board, the only thing we can do is allow the privilege to stand or remove the privilege that we grant for the office.
And just one follow-up. So after we have this vote, what can we do as a board to ensure that we don't have this sort of situation arise again at a board? Is this just our own professionalism, or Dr. Dudley is saying he was being taunted? So how can we better facilitate our meetings so that our members aren't feeling threatened or taunted or singled out? Is there anything that we can do? Thank you.
So regarding what we can do, it's like the presiding officer is in charge of order and decorum, and they're the first line of defense to ensure that everybody is behaving appropriately according to our agreed upon rules of engagement. However, fellow board members can also call for order and decorum if they witness it as well, because all you do is you call for it and you ask the chair to enforce. And if fellow board members or community members get out of hand according to our order and decorum rules, the chair has the ability to have them removed, request they leave, and have them physically removed if they do not wish to leave by calling HPD. So that's what we can do. So again, we're talking about what can we do. Those are the things we can do. Okay, let's go to board member Tiali Ta'ala.
Aloha kako. I'm very grateful to Dr. Dudley for his incredible example of servant leadership, his advocacy. Sorry, it's the baby. His advocacy, his care for community, and really his love for Aina and Kanaka in ways that even our own people don't show up. And so I have immense gratitude and respect for him. I do agree that as Alakai, we're held to a higher standard. I do agree that we, as community members, at the same time, need to feel that we too can voice our concerns and be heard and feel safe in all of our halabai, in all of our meetings. I want to encourage everyone as we internally, externally debate this issue, to hold all of our leadership accountable. There are a lot of people who support higher administrative levels, people who are beyond grassroots levels who have higher impact, and their behavior is egregious, more heva, more it sets the tone for people in our community to feel like they can be disrespectful, right? So, and to me, this is an inflection point. It isn't necessarily about Dr. Dudley, it's about all of us. Looking to our own ano and to our consequences of our actions and the people that we revere as our leaders. So to me, it'd be really contradictory for us to deride a person who's given an enormous amount over a couple of things, which I do not minimize at all. And I would ask all of our community members, especially those who are terrible, really, to have everything. Let's hold those community members accountable too. Mahalo.
All the board member Tiaratala, especially calling us to be our better selves and recognizing that Alaka'i leaders are held to a higher standard. And what we are doing here, we hope at this grassroots level, we do at all levels, because how we hold leadership accountable is key for a healthy and hearty democracy. Okay, let's go now to Board Member Sheila Medeiros, and then afterwards we'll circle back to First Vice Chair.
Thank you for allowing me to sense. I just wanted to give just respect to Dr. Dudley. I know you have spent decades advocating for environmental justice, and I've seen it and I appreciate it. The only thing I have a deep concern is it's just we all have personal accountability, and we are held to a higher standard. As board members, we were all elected by the community, and with that, it is expected that even with maybe challenging constituents, we have to hold a higher standard for ourselves and our conduct. And that's my only concern. And I did see the video, and it was disturbing. I'm sure we all have adversaries that can taunt us, but we're all elected to, and that doesn't take away everything done, Dr. Dudley. And there's no one that can replace the amount of advocacy that you've done in this community. So with that, I yield.
Mahalo, thank you, Member Sheila Medeiros. And going to First Vice Chair.
I just want to say, Kobian doesn't win no matter what, because no matter how the vote goes, because this is not just about his concerns. There are other concerns as well. He is a part of something that is wider. So it's not just about him. Mahalo.
And to follow up on the First Vice Chair's recent comments. So as chair, I have received probably about a dozen different concerns raised. No complaints, nothing filed officially, but just raised concerns. And they're not all about the Lee Kobian situation on October 13th. They're also about conduct and communications via email, phone conversations, presentations in public on behalf of the board. So all of those things have been raised as concerns. All of those things have been shared with our board members. And this is the only thing that the board can do to hold officers to a certain standard. Again, so again, we're not punishing anyone. The board bestowed a privilege of leadership, and the board in this discernment may choose to revoke that privilege. And as the First Vice Chair just reminded me, community members asked that we do what we could, and this was the only thing that we could, which is to allow the public discourse to share our mana'o, recognize that it is difficult in being a servant leader, recognizing we're all volunteers on this board, recognizing that people come heavy-handed against us for things that we have no power or control over. And sometimes we are not our best selves. That happens for me, that happens for every board member. But under this instance, the request from community raise and identify concerns for the second vice chair at this time, and that's why we're addressing it and having this open discourse and allowing community to engage with Aloha about how we hold each other to account. Any further discussion from board members? Okay. Chair recognizes second vice chair, Dr. Keone Dudley. Go right ahead.
Mr. Chair, I don't know why this issue came before the board. You're saying many community members came to you. You're saying that it's not just me flipping the phone once, it's other things. You're destroying my reputation, sir. You know, I think that what you're doing is just totally unacceptable. Thank you.
Chair recognizes first vice chair, Michaela Lindstone. Go right ahead.
I'm sorry if I feel like perhaps that should have come to me because actually I'm the one that shared the concerns with Chair Paris because they came to me and I asked these community members what they wanted and they said they wanted the board to address this and I didn't know how. So I went to Chair Paris. It was me that went to him and asked him and said the community members wanted action. So I feel that should probably come to me instead of him.
And also to the valid point that Dr. Keone Dudley raises about community members raising concerns in anonymity, right? So I mentioned 12 to show that there's multiple people. The ones that are public with their concerns are Mr. Lee Corbin, who has actually made this public. Who has also made it public is the chair of the YNI Neighborhood Board. She has also made this public. It's like, and those are the two people that made it public, while others requested anonymity, and I choose to honor that. And whether or not fellow board member believes that I am destroying his reputation or not, I can only apologize. But my job as the chair is to facilitate as best as I know how, raising the concerns of the public community members with the board because action was requested from fellow board members to actually place this on the agenda, which is their right. As it is the right of second vice chair and why we have so many resolutions on the agenda. Because I have to yield to the requests of board members if they make it in writing. It is my responsibility to do that. So I can only regret that he feels a certain way. But again, my job is to facilitate as best as possible, recognizing every board member has rights and I have to respect them. Chair recognizes board member Sheila Medeiros.
I just want to add on in terms of who was in the audience on the 13th of October. It was a joint board. So we had Eva Beach, Salt Lake, IL board members. And after the meeting, one of the board members from another board that was present spoke about it. So we not only, we represent our entire community, and we have to have decorum and professionality in our board sessions, regardless of how set we get with someone, a constituent, or even a board. we have to maintain decorum and professionalism at all times. That's all. It's just really poor taste.
Mahalo for raising your points regarding that. At our special meeting, we had representation from multiple other boards that also were present, and community members were present that also were there during the Lee Corbian incident. Is there any further discussion, fellow board members? Okay, the chair recognizes board member Moon Kahele.
I just want to make it clear, we're requesting him to step down from the second chair, not resign or, get excommunicated from this, district, neighborhood board, just stepping down from the chair. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, that is correct. And again, leadership position is a privilege. And as a vice chair, you are recognized as representative of the board when the chair is absent. Whether or not you say that you are representing the board or not, that is part of the privilege of being an officer. When the chair is not there, the vice chair is assumed generally from the public that you represent the board, if they are familiar with your membership with the neighborhood board. Okay? And also to be clear, this is about the privilege of holding the office of second vice chair. Any final thoughts before we do a vote? And because of the severity of the matter, we will. Yes, go right ahead, Dr. Amy Bosler.
And this does not prevent him from running for a chair, or excuse me, being elected back as a chair in the next election, correct? So if he yeah.
So to answer your question, it doesn't preclude him from being elevated to office again or another office, because again, that's a privilege that the board bestows on any of us. Including like chair positions for committees, like same thing. We bestow that on. Okay. Any other Manao final thoughts before we address this matter? And we will do a vote by roll call with the chair being last.
Okay, so just for this vote, with the motion being made and seconded for the removal of Dr. Keone Dudley as second vice chair, when I call your name, if you're online, please unmute your microphone. In person, please use the physical microphones, just for the record. Board member England online.
Okay, so what am I voting for? I just need to know how to answer. I'm sorry.
Okay, so with the motion being the removal of Dr. Keone Dudley as second vice chair, voting aye is in support of the removal. Voting nay, of course, is not in support of the removal, and then of course the option to abstain.
Okay, aye.
Member Dudley?
Nay.
Member Hale? Use the microphone, please.
Aye.
Member Lidstone?
Aye.
Member Medeiros online?
Aye.
Ta'ala online?
Kanalua, abstain.
And Chair Paris. Oh, sorry. Amy Bosler, yes. I'm so sorry. I forgot to write your name on my sheet. Yes. Member Bosler.
with a heavy heart, aye.
Thank you for that catch, Vice Chair. And last, Chair Paris.
I abstain.
With a vote count of, just one moment, 5 ayes, 1 nay, and 2 abstentions, the motion is adopted for the removal of the officer.
Mahalo. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, board members, and thank you, Dr. Keone Dudley, for your service as second vice chair. And I hope that we can move forward with Aloha, learning lessons and seeing how we can improve as leaders and as board members and as community members. Now we go to community reports.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Dr. Dudley.
I'd like to make a motion that we change these next parts of the agenda so as to get to the fact that at the last meeting, it was agreed that you and I would write versions of a resolution about the hurricane shelters and so forth, and that we would vote on one or the other at this meeting, or vote against both. And I really think that with only 6 minutes left, it's very important that we get to that, because the joint meeting, it really is going to depend on our vote.
Understood. The chair seeks to take out of order the resolutions at this time. Is there any objection? Hearing no objection.
Wait,
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Rhoda
Chair.
and Carol. Yes.
I mean, well, for my report, Amy and I have been working on the holiday tree things, and I know that's really like on the bottom of the list here, but we won't have a meeting next month, and we just want to go forward with our ideas because we have to put up the tree on December 6th. So can we just do our report, or does it matter to you guys what the tree looks like? Because we can just move on. We're sticking to the theme, but we wanted to share. We made some ornaments
Carol,
just to share.
Yep, no problem. Since that is an objection, the chair will note that now we will take our agenda out of order, going to the committee report for beautification and holiday for their presentation, and then afterwards to the resolutions. Is there any objection to taking the meeting out of order as stated? Okay, hearing none, let's go to the outreach and, beautification holiday presentation about the tree, and then we will move forward.
Okay. So Amy, since you're there and we talked about that, would you mind sharing just for a minute what we're planning, please?
Sure. So I have a mini Charlie Brown version of our idea sitting on the table over here. The theme is navigating the stars. And so we want to first and foremost honor wayfinding in Hawaii. And so with that at heart, I've contacted a dear friend who is captain of the Hokulea, and he and his crew are helping advise us on incorporating the sights, sounds, feelings of being on an ocean voyage. So we're trying to incorporate this into our tree. And we are also keeping the idea of Malama Aina and sustainability at the heart of our design by using decorations that are primarily made from biodegradable materials and recycled materials. So the ultimate goal for me, though, is that I want this tree to truly represent our community and all of the beautiful cultures that make up Kapolei-Honokai, Hale, and Makakilo. So we are, in our tree, we are incorporating the voyages. So we don't have a hokulea on our tree right now, but we are working on designing a canoe to put on our tree, maybe multiple, so you can see around the different parts of the tree, the different perspectives. And so we are hoping to use kapa as the skirt. We are also we are using materials that have been donated by Makaha Community Center to make stars for our tree. We have marine mammals that were donated by the Commissioner of Education from the Marshall Islands. She feels very strongly about this tree and wanted to remind our community that Micronesians are kind, they're talented, and they are our cousins. So she sent us a whole bunch of these beautiful handwoven ornaments. we're hoping to wrap the tree in a silvery blue ribbon to represent the ocean currents and also the voyages around Oceania. And then the garland we're using is tea leaves. It is hard to see right now, but we'll make sure that it is very clear on the final design. But we're making a tea leaf garland to represent the connections that we have in all the island communities. We are also using, I've gone out and contacted numerous community organizations. So Kapuna Wai'ola, their residents are helping make little marine mammals. We're going to make clay, biodegradable clay, and they're going to shape and decorate marine mammals. We have some of the crew from the Hokulea we're hoping to have them help us tie some nautical knots to put on the tree. We have 2 local student groups making clay ornaments. So I do have these all on the tree, just different variations, clay designs with shells. And then another is making origami albatross to represent our Japanese communities. And the Filipino Association of University Women, I know technically is not in Kapolei, but they're hosting a parole making event on November 2nd. If anyone wants to go, it's free. But they're helping us make a parole, which is the Filipino Christmas star. And I have a version of one sitting on the table next to the tree if anyone wants to look at it. But it will be, everything will be the colors of the ocean at night. So a lot of silver, a lot of blues, purples. And we also want to honor Kapolei High School. So we're also incorporating the silvers and the teals to give a nod to our local school. And then lastly, I'm still working with Nakamakai. They may be donating coloring books to put around the base of the tree so people can take with them to continue their knowledge and learn more about wayfinding in the islands. So, thank you.
Mahalo. Is the committee asking for anything at this time?
Sorry, what we would very humbly request that you approve this design. And if you happen to want to help make ornaments or help decorate, we would love your help, because we also were recently asked to do not only a tree, but also do the staircase leading up. So we may need help with more ornaments. Oh, and I apologize, I did forget. We also are learning to weave coconut frond, Ia's little open fish to put on. Thank you.
Okay.
Tia.
So that is the request from the committee. Going to member Tiale Ta'ala, you have a procedural question or inquiry? What's up?
No, just mahalo. The ho'onani is gonna be gorgeous, and I love the Hipu Corporation. Let me know if you need help. We have plenty Hamana who can help with things. Mahalo.
Okay, awesome. So the chair will take your motion from the committee is to approve the design and request the board do a call out for support for decoration and ornament support. Okay, it's been moved by, well, it's already made by the committee, technically, which is 2 members of the board. So it stands as a recommendation. Is there anyone wishing to publicly testify? 1, 2, 3. Okay, any discussion from the board? 1, 2, 3. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say a'ole. Any abstentions say kanaloa. Hearing none, you abstain. Now, before we move into the resolutions on, the chair recognizes that we are past 10 o'clock. Also recognizing that a number of these items are needed and timely, I will beg the board and the community, recognizing that what we're talking about now will not be on Olelo, but can we allow for 15 more minutes so that we can finish the timely business? And then we have to buy brother an adult or preferred beverage, because he's working off the clock now. Okay, seeing no objection, let's go 15 more minutes and let's take up the resolutions. You will see on the agenda, the resolutions. There are a number of them, all concept blocked under emergency and disaster preparedness. Dr. Dudley has graciously put together a draft that kind of incorporates all of those concepts into one. And I too have created drafts, but I didn't put it into one, I put it into two. Dr. Dudley's draft is available on the Google Drive along with the drafts that I've circulated. The notable difference is for me is style and form. And the way that I separated them as chair is that one, I made clear that is calling for comprehensive enhancements in emergency and disaster preparedness, and then grouped under thematic concepts or prioritization of shelter establishment, increased funding and tax incentives, legislative action for robust building codes, and safety regulations in private buildings. So the 4 areas. And the second resolution was supporting land restoration, equitable compensation, and community investment in military land acquisitions and negotiations. Although it also has to do with emergency and disaster preparedness, there has been further conversation about what about public input? It's going too fast. And what about the rights of Native Hawaiians? Because it's the public land trust. So all of those concerns that we've heard since the agenda went out has been incorporated into drafts. Again, available online and physical copies for board members here. So at this time, again, Dr. Dudley is championed and with his committee created all of the concepts. I reformed them into certain formats, and he has another format that incorporates both, which I will defer to him to talk about now, recognizing that the chair will recommend that we vote on his or on my 2. And then as a form, but if there's any concern or questions about whether or not you like any of the recommendations, they're all listed on the agenda. Does that make sense? We're talking about forms, but everybody's testifying on all of the concepts on the agenda. So we'll open for public testimony at this time before we go into the discussion. And this is on, the first one again is on, these are all the concept blocks that you can testify on. Government focus on hurricane preparedness and shelter provision. City Council to amend the Honolulu Building Code to enhance safety measures in new construction. That's focused on these safe rooms and the tsunami concepts that Antisphere and Dr. Dudley has talked about. And then the next concept block is urging the state legislature to create law mandating new government buildings and schools to be constructed to withstand Cat 5 hurricanes. Next concept block is urging builders of future homes and condominiums to recognize increasing strengths of hurricanes and exceeds current building codes by constructing strong feasible structures considering cost implications. So basically encouraging the builders to do it even if it's not the law. Next block is doing the same for Windows Company. Next block doing the same for ECO. Next block doing the same or similar for Board of Water Supply. Next block is for governor and legislature regarding tourists, accommodations, their families, and creating shelters, including the buildings that they are in to ruggedize them. Next block, United States military to establish adequate number of shelters. Next block, referring to the Green Fee Commission, urging them to do something with the resources they're collecting. And next block is regarding DLNR and environmental impact and military land leases. So all of this stuff we have been talking about in some way, shape, or form for like months, long time. So Dr. Dudley and his committee has put them all into concept blocks, and then we can put it up either in his form or others. And if you're for all of it, great. If you're against all of it, great. If you like one but you don't like another, this is the time to tell us. Does that make sense? we're taking public testimony on the concepts first as on the agenda, and the resolution vehicles here are the way that they could be presented after we figure out whether or not we like everything on the list or only some on the list. Is that clear? Okay. So public testimony for all of the recommendations. Come on down.
Aloha, Susan Gorman. Aloha, Susan Gorman Chang. I like all of them except the very last one about the leases, because I don't think the military needs the state leases. They still have federal land that they can do their training on. So I think this just muddies the water a bit with the rest of the resolutions, which I agree with. Thank you.
Awesome. To community members' point, that's one of the reasons why the chair separated that section out from all the rest. It's sufficiently different in my mind. But again, Dr. Dudley put it all together because people requested him to put it all together for our upcoming disaster and emergency preparedness gathering. Any others wishing to publicly testify? Hearing none, the chair wants to take this in 2 steps.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, go right ahead.
you said that I was going to get a chance to talk, and then you stopped, went the other way. Can I talk about mine a bit? You talked about yours. Can I talk about mine a bit? You gave me a chance, but you didn't allow me to actually talk. So I'd like to do that now for a minute.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'd just like to say that, you know, we're getting a lot of pressure from the neighborhood commission to have just one resolution. That's why I worked it down into just one resolution. And my second resolution was actually the thing about the city council trying to get the safe rooms back into the thing. And we put that instead into one of the calls for action. So I really think that the way that we've got it laid out now is really, really good. Let me say, as far as the military is concerned, this is a big thing that we've been working on for months, and we've got a lot of people working on it. We got the Board of Land and Natural Resources people working with us on it. We've got the people that they have contacted who are working with the governor's office, who write us on a regular basis about what they're doing. So it's really quite an important thing to keep in here. Overall, I just would like to say I really prefer my version, and I hope that the board will vote for it. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So there's, again, Dr. Dudley and I have 2 approaches. One is he put it all in because that was the guidance given, and mine was like, the guidance no makes sense. So, because this is, I think the military acquisition of lands is extremely different from emergency and disaster preparedness. So sometimes guidance makes sense and sometimes.
Mr. Chair, that's the way we get the money for it. That's the way we.
Dr. Dudley, sorry, but you were wanting to speak?
The way we get the money for the shelters and the way we get the money to give people the opportunity to fortify their houses is from the money that we get from the renewal of the leases. That's the reason the whole thing, that's the whole reason the thing is in here.
Okay, so Dr. Dudley raises the point that this is one way in which we can fund emergency and disaster preparedness. And I don't disagree. So let's go to the way we can address these issues, because the board, in order to move forward, there's 2 vehicles, one where it's all together and one where it's separated. There's all of the concepts on the agenda, and there's style and form considerations for both. So the discussion for the board is let's go through the concept blocks and see if everybody's okay with the concepts. And if they are, then we know we're okay with those. And they can all be standalone. And then whether or not we put them into the other two vehicles, that's up to the board. Unless there's one that, unless the board wishes to move to adopt one or the other at this time. That's my recommendation. Yep.
Is there a reason we can't have two resolutions, or is it just the neighborhood board commission would like one resolution?
So to best my understanding, the guidance from Neighborhood Board Commission is that for emergency and disaster preparedness, special and joint meeting that is currently planned in October 27, sorry, November of next month at Pearl Ridge Elementary School. They encourage one resolution to make it easier for everybody to track and know what they're voting on. Again, and I don't disagree with the guidance, but in my discernment, after hearing from board members and community members, that there's sufficient difference between emergency and disaster preparedness and also indicating that we would like consideration of the upcoming negotiations to put funds towards that. That can be totally fine in the vehicle. But there are other outstanding issues regarding the military land acquisition negotiations that goes beyond emergency and disaster preparedness that we've heard already in our board at community meetings, including what's the rush? How come you guys trying to negotiate this far? What about Native Hawaiians? Because a lot of that is public trust lands. They're getting their fair share or not. It's like those are the two major other issues that is separate and distinct from emergency disaster preparedness. So again, for me, it's form and presentation. There's merits on both sides, and we got to choose and which way we want to go. But in all cases, the concepts that we agree to, the recommendations and the resolutions that are spelled out, we got to make a decision whether or not we like them or we don't like them. We can take them all on block, or I would recommend that we do them all together. And if anybody wants to pull one out for discussion, that's great. Does that make sense? That's my recommendation. Because we've been talking about this kind of stuff for a while. My recommendation, we take them all as a block and we can pass the concepts and then we can decide vehicle. And if you want to discuss one of the resolutions specifically, like I would say we should discuss the military one specifically, we should pull it out.
Apologies. I had said I believe that these most of the resolutions seem very well thought out and fleshed out. We've been talking about them for months, maybe even years, I'd argue. The only issue that I do see is that the funding one, this is just one proposal for funding. There may be other avenues we could suggest for funding. So I feel like it is very important and it does make sense to add a funding resolution. It's just, I don't know if it's as ready to present as the others.
Sounds fine. So there's a call to pull out the resolution on military funding one. Is there any others that we wish to pull out at this time? The chair is recommending that we approve them all as a block. Yep. Go ahead, Dr. Dudley.
It would be a terrible mistake to take that out of there. I'll tell you, I've been at this for years now. I'm the expert.
Dr.
Honest
Dudley.
to God.
Dr. Dudley.
Yes.
So the question before the board is whether or not we will discuss the resolution on military and land leases. Otherwise, and pull that out because the recommendation of the chair is we approve all of the concepts.
And I move that we approve all the concepts.
Right. And then there was move to approve all of the concepts. It was like, and then the question is, do we need to pull out any for discussion? The one on resolution for military is going to be pulled out. So all the rest we're going to vote on right now. Is there anyone wishing to pull out any other concepts? Seeing no one else? Is there any discussion on all of the concepts except for the military and cost one at this time?
That's not my motion was to accept all of them.
And your motion wasn't seconded, Dr. Dudley.
Is there anybody who would like to second the motion?
Dr. Dudley, you do not control the meeting. The chair's recommendation again is to vote. All we're doing is the concepts. We didn't actually vote on which vehicle yet. One step at a time. Like, seeing no one else wishing to remove any of the other resolution concept blocks. All those in favor of adopting those concept blocks, say aye. Any opposed, say ole. Any abstentions, say kanalua. The chair heard 2 kanaluas on the rest of the concept blocks. Any other? So, okay, I'm gonna have to do a roll call. No, we're gonna have to, because I don't think we have enough on the board. So if that's the case,
You do still have your 3 board members online, so you still do have quorum at this time. We'll do the roll call just to be on the safe side. Okay, so this just to clarify, this is to adopt all the concept blocks, correct?
this is only the concept blocks that are itemized in this. It's like recognizing again that the chair will move to massage this stuff to appropriately citate and fact check and so forth, certain information on this as a concept, and then we're going to discuss whether or not it's going to be in 1 or in 2 results.
Okay, so just to clarify, this is just for the adoption of the concept blocks. The next discussion will be the mode of which these are put forward. When I say your name, please unmute your microphone if you're online. In person, I know that we have a microphone that's kind of circulating, but I'll try my best to make sure I get everybody. Board Member England.
The whole concept block.
Except for military. Yeah.
Oh, except for the
Yep. We're going to discuss that and then take a vote on that separately. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Board Member Dudley. Board Member Hale. Board Member Lidstone.
Kanalua.
Board Member Darius.
Yes.
Thank you. Board Member Ta'ala.
Kanalua.
Would you mind repeating that one more time, please? I'm sorry.
Kanalua.
Thank you. And Chair Paris. Or sorry, Bossler. I keep doing that. I'm so sorry. And Chair Paris. With that roll call vote, there are 5 ayes and 3 abstentions. The motion does carry.
Great. So we got those concept blocks in, and now we are discussing the last resolution point regarding urging the governor and BLNR to negotiate with leased properties for sums of money and funding emergency and disaster preparedness. Is there anyone wishing to publicly testify? Hearing, okay, come on down.
All right, it took me a minute to catch on with everything that was going on. And so I probably would have said something earlier, but it took me a minute to figure out what the lease thing was that you guys were talking about. And is my personal opinion that we should end all of these leases and move away from this military occupation. But I have to say that, yes, that would be the most wonderful way if, they would fund us, but I have my strong doubts that they will fund any of these things for our protection. And the sooner we're able to get rid of the bulk of the takeover of the lands of Hawaii, the sooner it will be to recover and do the things with the land that should be done, like farming, like Kanaka moving back from, the Vegas area, like that's what should be done with the land. And so as much as I would love that money, no, thank you. I don't want that in there at all, representing how I feel.
Thank you. Any others wishing the public to testify? Come on down.
I wish I paid attention earlier to this. This is a lot of work you guys did on this. Thank you. It's a lot of writing and thinking. So anyways, I just, I hope that there's room for all of this that is not so rigid, because the climate change is always changing. And I would hate for all of these goalposts to be, I hit my 200 miles per hour, and then 2 years from now, floods is the worst thing, not hurricanes, and everybody is hitting the mark for the winds. And because the earth is changing and we mess them up so much, 5 years from this, earthquakes, and everybody's like, so I mean, I hope in there we're writing it in that there's a group that's looking at it, that's keeps checking it year after year and adapting to it, that we're not stuck in the 200 mile per hour winds, that we can change, and we're ready to change with it, and we're not going to be all stuck because we already went past all these resolutions and we're stuck in it. So we got to be prepared for that. It's dynamic, but I'm just glad we're addressing it. And I'm also happy in the second part of this that we're giving the local population a little bit level playing field, that you get tax breaks and a little bit grants, for helping, for fortifying the homes. I just wanted to point that out. As far as I'm not too good on the financial parts, but whatever is fair plus to the power of 24, I'm for it. So thank you.
Mahalo. Any other wishing to publicly testify? Okay, hearing none. Is there?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, go right ahead, Dr. Dudley.
Thank you. I just want to explain a little bit about that paragraph and what's in it. I tried to put the last sentences in there in order to make the people who are against the military to recognize their concerns. It says, we further ask the BLNR, the Board of Land and Natural Resources, to insist on corrections to problems found in the environmental impact statements. That was a big thing with them. To insist on the care and preservation of cultural sites and endangered species. That was big with them. And to insist on the public input before these leases are signed. That if you want to take that out, it's fine. But leave the stuff in, for crying out loud, about, we're going to use that money. The governor himself last night on TV was talking about getting $10 billion from the military. So, we're talking about big money here, and we've got a real chance to get a good part of it. And if we can't get that money, if we cannot get the money, there's no hope of us having any hurricane shelters. So it's terribly important to have that in there. Thank you.
Any other discussion from board members regarding that concept block record for LNR, governor, military leases, and funding? I point out the noticeable difference. Again, the reason why I called that out is because of the standalone resolution where Dr. Dudley has, and then where the chair has separated out and clarifying in a separate resolution all of the things that sorry, in the separate resolution calling out for the board to support equitable compensation, community investment in military land acquisition negotiations, and land restoration, including the money, which is also the second resolve clause. And the third resolve clause is clarifying that the funds should prioritize community infrastructure and the establishment of emergency and disaster preparedness mechanisms we've talked about, and also put in the EIS concerns, but we added in recognizing that Native Hawaiians have a distinct place at the table, and the Office of Hawaiian Affairs as their trustee should be involved because it's dealing literally with their land that they own as a group. It's not public land. It's part of the public land trust in which Native Hawaiians have 20% interest under state law. Like, it's also their privately held land, even though it's public. So that's the major difference again. But as a concept block, anyone, all those in, so are we ready for the vote? Sorry. Okay. Seeing that we're ready for the vote, all those in favor of the concept block, say aye. All those opposed?
Would you say that again, please?
Yes, we're going to, which concept block you're in favor? Basically, that's the next vote, which is which vehicle you want. Because Dr. Dudley, very clear, like his, you keep it all in, and mine's is you separate it out. So we're just seeing whether or not we agree to actually bring this up at all, right, at this point in the resolutions. Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ole? Any kanalua? Okay, hearing none, the chair calls it unanimous. So we agree that that conversation should be. Now we're going to discuss the which vehicle, all together or separated. You're also voting on style and tone because Dr. Dudley's style and tone is very different than the style and tone that I have in mind. So in what I've presented, but they're all the same concept blocks. So is there a motion to adopt one or the other at this time? All together or separated out? Okay. Okay, that's great. So the advice given was that we'll take the vote on which vehicle and you just say which you want it together or you want it separated. And you can say Dr. Keone Dudley or Chair Paris, which version you want. Recognizing all the concepts, we agree, whether or not you like his wordsmithing in one or you like my wordsmithing in the two. And we'll do a roll call vote at this time again. And you are voting by saying Dr. Dudley or Chair Paris. Yes, question.
Use your microphone, Dr. Bosler.
I do like some of the wording that Dr. Dudley uses, but I also know that your style is more common, or it's more clear. But I do like some of the detail that is in. So if there's any way we could merge the two versions,
So
a little bit more
right.
smithing.
So it is already 50 minutes past the 50-minute extension, and recognizing that this is the request was that we take a vote on this evening. Now, if the body doesn't feel that we're ready for it this evening, the next step I will put it on the agenda for a special meeting, and then we will come back before the next meeting to try and get it published, which is the alternative. So if we feel comfortable moving forward with the wording, or we need to go back, that's fine. So my sense is that people are either going to want to vote on one or the other, or go back to the drawing board and send feedback to either Dr. Dudley or myself for awkwarding something for a special meeting. That is my recommendation. We're not going to wordsmith tonight. Okay, is there somebody has to move to do one or the other, or we're going to have a special meeting? Okay, we're moving to vote on Dr. Dudley's version or Chair Paris's version. It's been moved by Dr. Amy Bosler, second by Vice Chair Michaela Lindstone, and we are doing a roll call vote.
Okay, so just to clarify, for this vote, we're treating it as like a filling a vacancy. So whichever one you prefer, say the last name of the board member you wish to follow. If it's the multiple modes of having two separate, you say Paris. If it's one entire resolution, you say Dudley. Board member England,
Paris,
board member Dudley, board member Hale, board member Lidstone,
Dudley.
board member Medeiros,
Paris.
board member Ta'ala,
Paris.
board member Bosler,
Paris.
and Chair Paris.
I abstain.
Okay. And with that, just for the official record, 5 Paris, 2 Dudley, 1 abstention. The motion for the mode of resolutions will be the 2 separate resolutions as given by Chair Paris.
Awesome. At this time, everything else on the agenda is deferred until the next meeting. Some are time sensitive, so the chair is planning to do a special meeting to talk about dog leases and any other issues for the November 7th Charter Commission. And we move to adjourn.